All right, man. We are live. I am so
Yeah.
excited. Right to Real Love live stream, man. Like this is a long time coming. I am super excited to have you on here with me, Tatiana. And I just want to thank you. So for a few years now, you've been rocking with me, rocking with Right to Real Love. I'll put posts up, I'll put podcasts up, and you share them. And having you on here is truly an honor to cap off this live show. And before we get into it, I also want to let people know about you and Bliss for Singles. So if you don't mind, just take a moment to let the people know about Bliss for Singles and what you do.
Okay. Thank you, Jay, and thank you for thinking about me to be a part of this amazing new endeavor that Right to Real Love is going in. Live videos where it's at. So we definitely want to, engage in conversation like we usually do, and
Yes.
involve some great people in here, which is our viewers and audience. So it's a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
this is gonna be fun. Definitely gonna be fun. So I know you gave me this great idea. That's one of the reasons I like rocking with you, Tatiana, because you always have great ideas. You be coming with stuff that I never would have
Thank
thought of.
you.
And we're actually gonna do a pre-show icebreaker. So can you explain a little bit to our viewing audience what the icebreaker process is gonna be like?
Yeah, so this particular icebreaker is to kick off our premiere and kind of have a little hint on what we're going to talk about tonight. So, let's say it's been a while since you've been on a first date or whatever. We're going to bring up several different scenarios or choices for you to pick. We're going to
Mhm.
give our choices too on different levels of the first date, from the initial holla to the see you later.
Right. Deuces, as I like to say.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to chuck the deuce. It's just a part of the dating game, baby.
Not everybody's first date is great, but we'll see how ours turn out depending on what choices we pick, right? So
Right, all right.
I'm
So I'll put up the first choice for everybody today. So the first choice is in-person approach or sliding in the DMs. And we live in a society today where people are all about sliding in the DMs, Tatiana.
Yes, they are. Um, I've had experiences with both.
Uh-huh.
So it just depends. Like for me, if it's like in person, like you kind of get a gauge of what that person might be like at first, the
Mhm.
initial. And then sometimes in the DMs, when people like message you, they may not be serious or they may not want the same thing you want. They kind of gauge a conversation with them to get
Mhm.
to that point where you
Yeah,
can take them seriously. They're going to ask you out. But yeah, it takes a lot of discernment.
it
So
does.
I'm like, did I even make a choice in this scenario in this little game? So I would say in person. I would say in person, man, for this one.
Okay, okay, I can rock with that. And before I give my answer, I just want to give a huge shout out to Cynthia and Karen for joining us. I
What's
see Cynthia
up?
says she prefers in-person approach, and I can totally dig it. And I'll be honest, real talk, when I look at myself, I probably would be a slide in the DMs type of person. And when I compare these two, especially with the way things are nowadays, the cold approach is definitely something that is possible, but I like
Hmm.
to have those choosing signals. And when you know that a woman is
Ooh.
interested in you, I think it makes it a lot more easy for you to just go ahead and slide in the DM. Or, you could make the in-person approach, but I think I'll go with the slide in the DMs. I think that'll be a smooth way to do it.
I'm
And
here for
okay, I
it.
see we got Miss Watley. That's my girl Yvonne joining us. And Krista, what is going on?
Hey.
So, guys, glad to have you guys here with us. Let us know what y'all think.
Hello.
Are y'all about in-person approach or you want the guy to slide in them DMs? Which one is it?
Yeah,
But
that's
nah,
an
man.
awesome way to kick off a potential first date is
Right.
the cute meet or meet
Yeah.
cute. It's like, okay, how are we approaching in the DMs and in person? Because it matters, because how you approach in the DMs
Mhm.
definitely will either keep you on red or give you some attention. I'm just saying.
I don't think nobody want to be kept on red. Like that's the last thing you want. And
Right.
if that happens to you, then you already know. Like that's a negative. Don't even go any further. That's not the way to go. And Krista
Hmm.
said it depends on the approach. And that's real.
Exactly,
Like you
exactly. They
approach.
gotta come correct.
I feel like you got to come respectful, but as a
Hmm.
man, I feel like it's also important to be intentional about what it is that I'm interested in, and not beating around the bush, no friend zoning. Like, nah, this is the wreck. I'm trying to take you out. I want to do X, Y, Z, and let that be known clearly, and then she can make her decision from there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Let's see. What is our next one? Let me bring it up. So the next one is exchange numbers or social media handles. Because this is the whole thing. Like when you meet somebody, do you give them the digits? Or you just like, yo, here go my IG.
I'm not gonna lie. One time I gave someone my email,
Oh,
and,
an email? Like, hold
but
on, hold on. So I'm guessing that was not a choosing signal. Like to me, if a girl give me her email, we're doing business. Like and not that type of business,
it was my
but it's
personal email though.
strictly
Like,
funds.
oh man, but we did go out on a date though, because he did ask me
Okay.
eventually for my number. I was okay with him after a little bit because he followed through. Like, I respect that. I'm gonna have to give him the number now because he actually emailed me. But yeah.
That's what's up. So Yvonne said from the previous one that she would go with in person, and I dig that. I see a pattern here with the ladies. Y'all like the in person approach, so I can dig that. I'm not mad at
Hmm.
it. And I see my girl Asia. What is up, Asia? Joining us. She said,
Hey.
"If you're iffy, IG, but if he fine, she giving him that number right there in person. You feel me? I ain't mad
Yes.
at that." So that's a good question though, Tatiana. Like, if it is an in-person approach, does the looks develop whether or not, or depend on whether or not you get the number or you get the IG?
I mean, that first impression is their
Mhm.
appearance, right? We're not going to
Right.
know their
Always.
character right away unless we hear them across the room and they're
Mhm.
loud and rude to the waiter or something at a restaurant or something. But like that initial like attraction, like, oh, they're cute, or oh,
Mhm.
she's cute, whatever. And, maybe that's what will draw them to you a little bit, maybe want to get to know them more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that definitely plays plays a part in it.
That's real. I'll be honest. I've never given a girl my social, like ever. Like to me, if I want to move forward with you, I'm totally fine with you having my number and we can proceed from there. However, I will be honest. Some people have just got the Google number. Some
Ooh,
people
not the
have
Google.
just got the Google number because
That's
you
important
don't
though.
know.
That's
And I
important.
would
Gotta
say this:
protect
I
your
typically
sanity.
do the Google number if I'm out of state somewhere, because like you don't really know who you
Mm,
meeting like that. So they don't know
wow.
313-248, the 734. They don't know the area codes in Michigan. So they don't know what's my real one versus what's my Google. So that's one of the ways that I approach it personally.
That's a good one. Because I remember back in the day, back in our
Uh,
day, like, we would hear stories and probably did it before where we gave people fake numbers or we
mhm.
gave them someone else's numbers. Well, we have the Google numbers now. So you can screen the calls if you need to.
Right.
First, and for women, honestly, a lot of it is for safety reasons. Like we
Mhm.
just can't be giving our number to everybody. And that's
And
why I just don't.
and I'm reading the chat right now. So we got Krista. She's like socials all day. That's what you getting. Then we got
Yeah.
Yvonne. She was like, they hate an email, lightweight, slow. Like I for real, don't nobody want the email. I'll tell you right now, no man wants to get the email. To me, that's not a good sign if she's giving the email. But shout out to the dude who got a date with you though, Tatiana,
He
even though he got
did.
the email. So shout out to him for
He
that.
did.
Krista says having my phone number is kind of deep. She was like, you going deep if you get the number. So I ain't mad at that. Not mad at that at all. What is going on, Tanisha? I see you in the building. She said the shade with the Google number.
Ah!
Was it shade though? Like, was me giving the Google number shade, Tatiana? I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
I don't know. It kind of, well, it depends. Like, it depends on, like, have you had a history of people calling you out the blue, like, on your real phone number saying
Uh,
that God told them you were their husband, Jay? Like, I have questions.
nah. No married women. No married. I check the finger, man. But some people they don't wear the ring, but it's important to ask. It is in today's day and age. It is.
Hmm.
So let's see what else the chat. Okay, so Cynthia says, I definitely give my number. I do think a guy is serious if he gives me his IG or another social media. That's interesting.
Mm.
So Cynthia, explain a little bit. Why do you think he's serious if you get the IG versus the number? Because I would personally think it would be the other way around. Just
I,
because, and I'm gonna just say this with men, it's all about the level of access that you have to our life.
hmm.
So the IG means, at least in my opinion, unless he's on his phone all the time, that
Hmm.
there's some distance still. Like there's a filling out process, and from most gentlemen that I know, they utilize the IG to, kind of see what's really going on. You get the IG, you can go through, scroll through, and see what the woman has been up to. So I don't know. I get it though. Oh, she said, because I can always block him if he turns out to be a creep.
Fair enough. On social
That's
media and
fair.
on the phone.
So let's go with our next one as we move along on our little date together. So it says, would you wait within 24 hours to initiate that first conversation? Or are you waiting over 24 hours? What's your take?
Like, would I want? I'm not an initiator with that kind of stuff. I would prefer not to ask the guy out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
But if I would wait for within 24 hours or over 24 hours, I think within the 24 hours of getting my number, because it's like, well, what are we doing then if you're asking for my number? Don't waste my time.
That's real. That's real. Now, I saw a comment by my girl Tanisha. She was like, I think you're not interested if you give her the Google number. Really? Why? I was interested, but it's just like a filling out process. Like some people, they give you that vibe, but I don't know. Like I'm particular. I have these little idiosyncrasies, if I'm being honest. Like there are certain things where I'll say like, yo, that chick kind of has like crazy eyes, or like it's just little things that kind of like raise a radar for me. And if I kind of get those inclinations, that's when people get the Google number, where I'm just like, okay, let me fill this person out a little bit more. But clearly it's a conversation when you got to be like, well, that wasn't really the real number.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, okay, what if things go well? At what point do you disclose, like, actually, I gave you the filter number? I was like, how are they going to respond to that?
Right. So today it would be interesting because I would probably just have to be honest. But back in the day, I just be like, yo, I changed my number. I would just lie. I'm gonna just be real, yo. I just got a new number. You feel me?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm being honest.
Hey,
I gotta be honest with y'all. Yo, I gotta keep it 100.
No judgment over here at all. This is judge-free zone, guys.
Let's see. Would I wait 24 hours or after 24? I'll be honest. Like when I used to really be hooked up on like the games and playing all of that type of stuff, I would let 24 hours pass. So for me, it would be over 24 hours before I would initiate, that contact for sure. Yeah. I'm curious to see what y'all in the chat think. What are y'all doing?
Miss Watley said, I actually prefer men without social media. And let me tell you, she's not wrong about that. Because sometimes the guys, like you said, Jay, who aren't on social media 24/7, 6 days a week, they have stuff to do.
They do.
And sometimes guys who are on social media too much and social media is not their main form of earning a living, they might be up to something. That's the stigma, but I'm suspicious if that's the case. You're gonna have to go through a few more filters with me if that's the case.
I ain't mad at that. That makes all the sense in the world. So we got a few other messages. So Cynthia says, and when you fill them out on IG, you give the number. Right. I can dig that totally. Says, because for me, they are women hunters. But remember, she's older. Okay, so you feel like the dude on IG hunting women? Oh, you have a point, depending on who that man is. Some men are on the hunt. So I'm gonna just.
And they do that with numbers too.
Hold on, say that again, Tatiana.
And they do that with numbers too. Like if you were to go out at an event or something, networking event, like, oh, well, that's kind of immature, but it happens in real life too.
It does. And I'm all about keeping it real. Like it does happen. So Krista says she doesn't think it matters with regards to the 24-hour thing. She says, but I'm not reaching out to him first ever. Oh, she said,
I found my twin in the chat. Yes, Krista.
Oh, you found your twin in the chat. You said you ain't never doing it first. Okay, I got that.
Nah, you approach me when you ask for my number. I'm expecting you to reach out to me first. That's what I'm just saying.
I'm not mad at that, and I believe as a man, a man should go ahead and do that, unless for some reason, like some women do it first. I'll put it out there. Some women do. Like if you find enough to her, she might be like, hold on now, I'm gonna make sure he locked me in. You feel me? Like this is me. So I ain't mad at those women that do that either. Nice. So Cynthia says, I will wait until the next day, maybe that same evening, if the initial connection was great. So I'm not mad at that.
Nothing like that first connection. Yes.
That's solid. Okay,
Yes.
so we got a big one here. Let's see. Tanisha says, I find that some men who don't have social media don't want to get caught up in some situations. Sometimes women can be Facebook detectives and can research if what you're saying conflicts. That's facts.
And we will find out.
That's
And if
facts.
we don't find it on social media, the Holy Spirit will tell on you.
The Holy Spirit is leading you. Is that
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Yvonne said the games. That's right. Chess, not checkers. Always chess, never checkers. So next up, call or text. What's
Mm.
your vibe?
I
What's
prefer a
what's your
call. I think it's so it leaves a really good impression when a guy calls because
yeah.
you want to I guess you probably want to hear their voice and
Mhm.
vice versa, and actually hear, well, I made plans, I made reservations, or something like that. Something.
Right,
Let's get the voice call popping. That might lead to actual conversation, like what you
right.
like and stuff like that. With a text message, it kind of seems so informal, but
Mhm.
some people do prefer text messages over calling. So this is just my personal preference.
Yeah, I get it. Chat, let us know. Y'all prefer call or text? I'll be honest. I feel like when it comes to connecting with a woman, I prefer to call. Like I prefer to call. However, I probably wouldn't be opposed to, and just because it's habitual for me, is
Hmm.
texting to make sure, hey, is now a good time to call. So it's a text leading up to a call to make sure you're available. So that's just
That's
me. That's
good. That's a
that's
good
just kind of
one. Okay,
my
that's
MO.
a good one.
It's not like I'm gonna just keep you here within these 140 characters and
Yeah.
that's about it, babe.
Right.
So
That's a
Asia says text. Okay, she says call first, call for sure, and then texting after that. Krista says call, and okay, Tanisha, type yours again because I'm not sure what you mean by that. Asia says yes, plan that call to see if I'm free. Yes, that's right. I gotta make sure you're available too, right? Like, yo, I know y'all women be about y'all business nowadays, right? Want to make sure you're not getting to the bag, and that's the only reason why you ain't choosing at this moment. So gotta
hmm.
make sure the green light is there, at least for me. So Yvonne says call. Tanisha says agree, text, then call. Yeah, everybody wants to call. Ladies want to call. Even
Hmm.
Cynthia wants to call. I'm not mad at that. Call, fellas.
Let's
Call.
do it.
So next one. Would you wait for them to ask you out or do you ask for the date? I think I can guess what y'all ladies are gonna say about this.
Yeah, like I said before, like I would want them to ask me out.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like me as a man, I'm gonna initiate that contact. I'm not gonna wait for the woman to ask me out on a date. I feel like that is a role reversal for me. I mean, everybody can dictate and define their own roles, but
Because nowadays it's a little
my
more
house,
open.
as the text says, for me and my house, the way we got it set up over here, I will definitely make sure I'm the one that initiates the date. So yeah, yeah. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay. Oh, Tanisha says, I do not ask men out, period. She
That's her
put the period,
boundary,
spelled it out, not
respectfully.
just the dot, period. She letting us know it's not happening. It's not happening. Okay. Krista says she'll wait for sure. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that. Wait for them to do it. Cynthia says it also sets the guy apart because most men I've noticed like the text. Yeah, the call will.
Mm.
Yeah.
And to that point, Jay, I've noticed that like a lot of guys, modern guys, Gen Z guys, and younger millennials,
Mhm.
they're on that. Oh, we she can approach me too. She needs to bring the same energy, the same effort. They're on the same effort thing, and I'm just like, I don't know if y'all know how this goes, but to a
Right.
woman, same effort when it comes to initiating a first date or any date.
Uh-huh.
We kind of traditional on that sense.
Hmm.
We want to be pursued, and if we in a relationship, maybe you can get that pursuing as well, in terms of I planned a date for us, and stuff
Hmm.
like that, or I want to take you out for your birthday or something like that, like. But when it comes to that initial first few dates and such,
Hmm.
when you're just getting to know each other, I think most women would say we prefer the guy to do the planning or asking us out.
That's real. That's real. Now we got this right here, and I'm gonna put this up on screen. Yvonne says, I can ask if the vibe was good. She
Okay,
can
okay.
ask if the vibe is good, and I'm not mad at that.
Yes.
I'm not mad at that. I think that it's totally fine for a woman if she vibing to go ahead and do that. But I'm with you though, Tatiana. I feel like the planning should be the man's role. Like I feel like if the woman starts doing all of the planning and stuff, then
Mm-hmm.
once again, I feel like that role is being reversed a little bit.
Yeah. So if you were feeling someone, Jay,
Mhm.
and she asked you out, would that be like a, I don't know now about
If
this?
if I'm feeling
This?
her, if
Okay.
I'm feeling her, nah.
Okay.
Like, but I will say this: it would be something that I would make a note of as to like, is this just like, yo, she just vibing like Yvonne was talking about, and she's led by the vibe, or is this like, nah, this is her MO where she want to dictate what we do, how we do, then
Mm-hmm.
that energy is a little bit different for me. So
Yeah.
that's when I would start having to rethink how far I want to go with her. So yeah.
That's a good
So let's
point.
okay. Asia says I feel that too. If it's a good vibe, I would definitely hit him with the "We must do this again." Yeah,
That's cute. That's
yeah, we
cute.
must
It's
do
kind
this
of like you're
again.
giving, yeah, it's like you're giving him the alley oop to ask you one more time on a second date. Sometimes we
All
gotta
right,
let these guys know
right.
it's
Now
more
check
than
this out.
just a
Check this part right
smile.
here.
Hmm.
Tanisha says, "Now don't get me wrong. I can initiate a conversation, but not a date."
There's
What's your take on
levels.
that, Tatiana?
There's levels to this. Like that's yes. I'm more of an introvert, so it comes to initiating
Uh-huh,
conversation. That's really not my thing, but I
uh-huh.
get it. I totally get it. I think that's part of the caveat to the whole
Hmm.
question: can women approach men? Yes, you can. You can approach a man and initiate a conversation. Now, when it comes to the pursuing and asking him out on a date, that will not go well with every guy because
Right,
not every guy is
right,
like that. Not every guy
right.
is like what I just talked about when they're like mutual effort in the beginning. Like, no, sometimes they want to take charge and, they'd be a little turned off if a woman were to like approach them on some stuff
Hmm.
that guys would do. Like, hey,
That's facts. That's
wanna,
facts. I
wanna
agree with you. I agree with you.
do-
So the next one we got daytime or nighttime date. What
Oh
y'all
my
prefer?
gosh. Yeah, sound off in the
Let
comments,
us know in the
y'all.
chat.
I like both, honestly, but I wouldn't
Mhm.
mind a nice daytime date
Yeah.
because if the date goes well, you can, if you want to, carry it on into the evening.
Right.
And I've done that before. It's actually
Hmm.
kind of fun. How
Yeah.
about you, Jay?
I'll be honest. When I look at all of the dates that I've gone on, like all of the serious dates have been nighttime dates. I think
Mm.
all of the daytime stuff is like filling somebody out to figure
Hmm.
out like are we moving to that type of thing? Is it like we going from friendship and being cool to now we gonna date and we gonna try to fill each other out as we vibe on a meal or go somewhere dope and just chill. But I would say every time it's serious, it's always been at night for me. So
Okay.
I'm curious to see what the chat got to say.
There's some good
Asia
comments.
says at night, and she says daytime is friend zone. See, that's what I'm just saying. I gotta put it up. Daytime is friend zone. That is real talk. I agree with that. So Krista says initial date, she preferred day, and Yvonne says day too. But I'm loving what my girl Asia put up there. Daytime is friend zone. I
Mm.
think there's some legitness to that, Asia.
Shout out to my girl, Miss Watley, though. She said lunch or brunch. I'm like, what? You said the magic word, brunch.
Right.
I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. All right, so let's see what's next. Let's go somewhere new or somewhere familiar.
I'm
What do
down for
y'all prefer?
new.
Y'all like going to y'all regular stomping ground, somewhere y'all been, or y'all want to go somewhere new? Take me somewhere I ain't never been before. Somewhere exotic,
Exotic.
exotic.
I don't mind going somewhere new. It's pretty cool. So you're getting to know someone and the atmosphere at the same time. It kind of
Mhm.
like helps you to appreciate the new atmosphere that you're in
Yeah.
instead of thinking like, oh, my ex is gonna be here because they used to go to the bars all the time, or like
Right.
you may not run into someone at
Mhm.
a new place versus a familiar place if you even care about that stuff. But to me, I just
Yeah.
like new experiences anyway. So I
Mhm.
think that'd be nice. What
That's
about you?
real. I would say when I look at it, I would go with somewhere new. Um, Not because I'm against going somewhere familiar. It's just this is a new experience, a new person. Let's make this thing new all the way around across the board, and kind of see. I feel like it adds to the experience because if you go places where you've taken other people or you have a habit of taking other people, I mean, it's just the same thing. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Groundhog Day, just with a different person.
True.
Yeah.
Same game, different players.
Right. So what's up, Paula? Welcome, welcome. So Paula says she would rather go somewhere new. So let's see. We got Tanisha C. My first dates have been nighttime. I have not had a daytime since college. Okay, that's real.
Mm,
That's real. And let's see. Asia says an experience on both ends, no bias. Okay, okay, right, right. It can be. I agree. It can be an experience on both ends.
for sure.
New people, new vibes, all the way, all the way. So let's see. Cynthia says, yes, Jay, I feel the same way. New experiences together. Right, right. New
Mhm.
chapter, new book, everything. Tanisha says she likes to be adventurous, try something new. Krista says
Hey,
new is better, but she's fine with either. So I feel like everybody is leaning towards the new, but like ladies are like, yo, you taking me out. Like new, familiar, it don't matter
it don't
because
matter. Just show me a good time.
right. And I think leading up to something that we'll be talking about in a little bit. But our next one is this: pick you up,
Mm.
or y'all trying to meet.
For that first date, I don't mind meeting at the location. It's not an issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Ladies,
know
what
them
y'all
like
think? Y'all
that
trying to
yet.
meet?
Yeah.
Y'all trying to meet or y'all trying to get picked up? I feel like today's day and age, you probably better off meeting up with somebody. I know back in the day it used to be to pick a girl up, pick a woman up. But yeah, times have changed, man. Times have definitely changed.
Gotta be careful. Krista said that depends on where you meet. LOL. It's true.
That's real. That's real. Yeah,
Because
I
if
agree.
it's
So Asia says depends on if we know each other through
mm,
mutual friends. If so, you can pick
mm,
me up. Stranger, gotta meet you. That's real, yo.
yeah,
Yo,
keep that up
Asia,
there for
you
a
in the chat
while.
dropping bars right now, yo. I'm gonna have to find some sound effects in here. You dropping mad bars for me. I'm loving these vibes. So Krista says, unless I know you or my friend does, you can't pick me up. That's facts. Oh,
Hmm.
and check out why. I don't want to die.
No, we're
That's
not trying to
real.
see Krista on True TV or ID anytime soon. Okay.
Right. Nah, man, I don't want to see none of y'all on the nightly news, man. Nobody. I don't
That
want to see
part.
it. Yeah, so I would say if I had to land on, I think today's day and age, we can meet. We can definitely meet.
That part.
All right, so here we go. This kind of sticks to what women's preference are. Open the doors or not. Like I know some women are like, you better open my door. Some women are like, you better not open my door. So Tatiana, where do you fall on that spectrum when it comes to the door?
I definitely would be impressed if the guy opens the door without me having to ask or mention or be like, you know how sometimes you wait for them to get the hint, like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to
Uh-huh.
open this door, sir. I would definitely appreciate and respect that they open the doors for me on a
Yeah,
date.
I can dig that. So I got a question for the chat, but first I want to see what they saying here. So Yvonne, going back to the previous one, she was like, "You can never pick me up." Like, like yo, she like yo, you are a stranger until you're not, and that's real. I ain't
It's
mad
the
at that.
boundaries for me. Yes.
Yeah, similar. Tanisha says, if you already know the guy, he can pick her up. If he is a new stranger, she'll meet him there, and that's real.
Hmm.
Oh, look, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. I don't touch the door, homeboy or man. Yo, this is what we talking about, and this is a good one into where we going later with standards and expectations.
Tell the truth.
That's good right there. So Paula says, meet up in case I have to cut the date short. That's real.
Ooh, that's fair.
Sometimes you got to do that.
And you don't want to wait on Uber. Krista said, if you open my car door, I'll start telling myself you're Boaz. You know what? When a date is going well and you're feeling the vibe for sure, you can definitely like feel that way. Like, ooh, is this
Right.
the one? Is it him, Jesus?
Right.
Mm.
Y'all funny. Cynthia says, open doors, please. That added touch will be very much appreciated. Yo, I get
Yes.
that. I get that. Yeah. So
Jay,
I'm mad
real
at that.
quick question on
Yes.
that.
Yes.
What is the equivalent of opening doors, like what a woman could do for a guy? Is it a thank
Oh
you
man, you
or
put me on the
something
spot.
more?
Is there an equivalent to that?
Like on a
Open
standard
doors.
date, y'all are opening doors for us. Like, what is something you all would appreciate from the ladies?
Oh man. I'll be honest. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like everything that I would say, I feel like it would just come standard. Like good conversation and
Mm-hmm.
be respectful, be honorable. Um, I know for some guys, it's gonna lead into what we're gonna talk about a little bit later. Is that picking up 50% of that check would probably be an equivalent to opening that door. Am I jumping ahead of myself? Because I think some
Hot
dudes,
topics. Yeah. We
I'll
gonna get
save
into
that.
it,
I'll save that
y'all.
for later. But you
Yes,
asked. I
yes.
think some guys would be like, yeah, you wanna meet the equivalent.
That's
Uh,
fair. Well,
so this is the add-on question to this. Now, is it just the car door or like every door?
every door. I'm thinking every door when it came to this situation. Yeah.
Every door. I ain't mad at that.
But
I ain't mad
Krista
at that.
says opening the car door hits so much different than a regular door. I feel
Hmm,
you on that because it's the
hmm. What
chivalry
is
for
it about the
me.
car door?
It's the
What is it
chivalry.
about
It's
the
like
car door?
they open the door, they let you in your seat before they get in theirs first. I mean, you feel like a little princess, a little celebrity in these
Right.
streets. We all deserve to feel special like that. So that's
Yeah.
why I asked you that follow-up question, like how do guys want to feel? I had a boyfriend one time who told me
Uh-huh.
that the car door equivalent would be
Hmm.
to kind of reach over and open their door on their
Okay.
end. But I feel like you saved that for more of a relationship kind of thing. I don't know
And I mean,
you like
like
that, and yeah, go
the way
ahead.
cars are in 2021, do I really need you to reach over? Like they're like it's already open, babe. Like we hitting key locks over here. The key fob is opening when I get close. So
Yes.
like don't I mean I appreciate the gesture, but like is it a meaningless gesture in 2021?
I have no idea because that was back in the aughts, in the
Yo,
OOs.
I hear Yvonne, she like, y'all better be opening up all doors. I ain't mad at that.
Period.
Period. So next one. Would you want your date to order for you or you're ordering for yourself?
Hmm. It depends. It
Okay.
depends on the date and what kind of date it is. Like, let's say if it's a French restaurant and they're really bougie, and so it's like I don't know what this says, and he happens
Right.
to speak French, so he picked the place, so he wants to impress me, and he's speaking French. Then
Mhm.
I'd be like, ooh, oh well, okay, well thank you. He's interpreting the menu for me, you know.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I feel like I can order for myself.
Right. So now I got a follow-up question. So I feel like a man is putting himself in a position where the expectations are going to be a lot higher if you're picking that meal because if the food ain't on point, like that is going to tie right back directly to you. And it's
That
like,
might make or break.
I feel like that's a gamble. Like you rolling the dice. If it works out, you speaking French, you parlez-vous and everything. But then if the plate isn't on point, what you gonna do about that?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, maybe you gotta send it back. I don't know. Everybody's different when it comes to that stuff, but
Okay, the chat is saying so.
yeah.
Said it depends, but very attractive when a man orders for you. So, wait, is it
Hmm.
just going to be foreign food that you are unable to read the menu, or if he's like, "Yo, your Applebee's 2 for 20 is gonna be this,"
Please do not go to Applebee's on no dates,
yo,
y'all.
I had to be
Unless
salty.
that's your favorite restaurant. Uh,
Yo, here we go. Krista says ordering for a woman is so odd to her.
hmm.
It's odd.
Because
What's
to
odd
some,
about it, Krista? I'm curious.
yeah, because I don't want to put words in her mouth, but sometimes it could come off a little like, is it
Right.
controlling? And it depends on the tone too, like how
Yeah.
he orders it. It's like, honey, she'll have X, Y, Z. It's like,
Yeah, that's different right there when like you can't
yeah,
even speak. So
exactly.
Tanisha, going back to the previous one, restaurant door two, she says she had a girl's boyfriend open the door for her and her girlfriends last Friday, and it was cool. Okay, so
Oh,
he opened
a
the door for the whole
gentleman.
group. You know
We're
what
here
I'm
for it.
saying? Paula says no need to order for her. Yvonne, similar. Nope, she got it. Asia says, hold on. Oh no, Krista says, like, how do you know what I want? That's real. I feel like that's a valid question.
Hmm.
That's a valid question, right? So then Cynthia says it would show how well he knows you. Right.
Wow, these
You
are really
kind
good
of have to
reasons for
know
both
something about the
answers, you
person when you
guys.
order. And food is kind of serious for some people, unless they're not a foodie and they don't really care. They eat anything.
But what if you have an indecisive date and you're trying to help them out? And they
Yeah.
can go like they're down for whatever. They just indecisive on that
Mhm.
particular date. Like, do you just order for them? Like they probably wouldn't be offended.
I feel
because
like
they're
that
just
now
trying to
to
figure
me
it
that's a
out.
red flag. Like if you can't even pick your own meal, like I mean, we ain't
That's a
even got
red
in the
flag.
conversation deep, and like you're already struggling to make
Wow,
a basic decision. Like if you don't even know what you want to drink, though, like I
I
mean,
can't.
we gotta address that. Like
Jay
that
said red flag.
that is definitely a red flag.
Oh
So
man,
let's
that's
see.
funny.
Tanisha says, I agree with that. My first date at an Indian restaurant, I let my boyfriend at the time order, and it was nice. Yeah, that's real. I
Oh
feel like it can be a good experience when that happens. So I
yeah.
get that. I get that. All right, cool. So let's move on to the next ones. Drink or no drink on the date?
Hmm. I don't mind partaking in a little beverage because I know my limits. I would have
Mhm.
that one though. I think one is good enough because you don't want to give off some impression that you might be like alcoholic or something like that.
Right.
But you also, ladies, also always watch your drinks, even in this day and age. I know we're grown or whatever on this platform, but always watch your stuff. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Always.
either way is either way is fine. Whatever you feel like convicted to do.
I agree. I agree. And for me, this is kind of easy. I don't drink, so it would definitely be no drink for me. I wouldn't feel no type of way if a woman got a drink though. I've
Hmm.
definitely gone on dates where women got drinks, so I don't have an issue with it. That one's a no brainer for me. Easy, easy one.
Nice.
So let's see. I will throw up the next one. This is the one. This is the one.
We need everybody who's
I feel
watching right
like this is
now.
gonna
Please
be
comment.
unanimous in the chat, unless we have a unicorn in the chat.
We need the comments. We need the comments for this one,
Okay, so I
guys.
see women are saying with regards to the last one, water or soft drink only. Okay, I can dig that, Asia. One drink max, says Cynthia. Okay, I ain't mad at that. Krista says first drink or first date, no drinks. I've had bad experiences where the liquor had her too comfortable.
That's what I'm
That
saying. You gotta know your limits.
gotta
Yeah.
know your limits.
Yeah.
Got to.
That's smart.
Got to. And I'm at it. Yvonne, like, yo, wine for sure. Go ahead. I don't think there's anything wrong. Get you a little glass of wine. But once again, gotta know the limits. Gotta know the limits.
Now, if you
Yeah.
go to wait, like if you go to a wine or winery restaurant, like a
Mhm.
Cooper's Hawk or something like that, then there's
Yeah.
that temptation to get more than one. So I'm just putting that caveat out there.
Yeah.
But if you drink and the date doesn't, yet they take you to a winery place, that's kind of weird. But okay.
I feel like you should have a thought in the back of your mind asking why.
Hello, hello, and where's my
Why?
ride? Send your location to your friends.
Right. Right. You better like update them with a text too. As soon as you take that first drink.
That part.
So I'm curious. I feel like I know what everybody's gonna say with regards to this 50-50 and the whole amount. I think I already know where you stand, Tatiana, but by all means, share with us.
Yeah, for the first date, I would prefer if you would pay all the way for the date.
Okay.
I feel like for me, 50-50 is more on a friend zone kind of thing. Or if you feel like your intentions were for him to pay and maybe the date isn't going as well as you thought it would.
Hmm.
To me, a woman suggesting paying 50-50 before the bill even comes up, it sounds like it's not going well because you don't want to be responsible and feel like you owe anything to your date.
Hmm.
It gets complicated with that kind of stuff, but for me personally, I would prefer the guy who asked me out, who
Right.
pursued me,
Right.
opened the door for me, and all that
She's
other
like,
stuff.
there's qualifiers, but it's expectation.
Right, 2 plus 2 is 4. Like, so in this scenario, I would prefer if he paid for this date. Yeah.
I'm mad at that. I'm mad at that. So in the chat, Yvonne says, depending, we can split. I'm surprised. I
Mm.
thought it was gonna be unanimous. I'm not mad. Okay, so Yvonne is like, yo, depending on the circumstance, she might be willing to split it. Cynthia says, hopefully pays the whole amount for the first date. I I can respect it. That's pretty much what I expect. I feel like most women expect men to pay for the whole amount. Okay, we got Tiffany in the building. Welcome to the chat, Tiffany. She says she paid 50-50. All right, okay. So hey, forgive me for judging y'all chat. I totally thought it was gonna be unanimous. Like I misjudged the ladies. I did. So let's see what our next one is. I think we have three more left, and then we're gonna get into today's main topics. So Okay, before we do that though, Paula says, if you ask me out on a date, I expect you to pay. I feel like
Thank
a lot
you.
of people have
Thank
that
you, Paula.
expectation. That's real.
I feel justified in my
Key
statements.
word, and this goes into our first topic that's coming up soon. Paula said it. Expect. Expect. Like I just want y'all to highlight that word right there.
Yes.
So Yvonne says, I always have Mr. No matter what. These guys be broke.
I think she meant to say me. I have me no matter what.
Yeah, her.
Mhm.
Right. That's right. Right. Yeah, that's real. That's real. I feel like you
You
should.
gotta be ready and
Like
prepared.
if you're coming with bare pockets, or in a woman's case, like your purse is empty, like you're asking for it. Krista says, I'm bringing money to pay, but I don't want to. Yeah, that's real.
Just keeping it
That's
real.
real. But I'll challenge this a little bit because, and I'm really playing on her exact statement. She said she's bringing money to pay. No, no, no. You have money in case you have to pay. You're not bringing money to pay. No, 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 like that isn't accurate, because if you're bringing money to pay, then of course, when he says, let's go 50-50, you're like, oh, I expected this because I brought this money to pay. But if
Hmm.
you come prepared with cash, I think that's a little bit different. What do you think? You think I'm just being particular here?
I see what you're saying. Like the wheels were spinning as we were reading that. It sounds like the way Krista wrote it.
I
Okay,
know
it
how she
sounded
wrote
like
it.
it sounded like she was prepared to pay,
Hmm.
but in her mind she doesn't really want to.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. So look, so these are like, yes, ma'am, he needs to pay for the whole first day. It sets the tone. So I'm
That's a
curious,
good
what
point.
tone is that? What is the
Tone.
tone that's being set? Does that mean that he's paying every day? Like, what's the tone that's being set? I would love to get additional information on the tone.
Yes.
What tone does that set? I'm interested to know.
Our first hand of reading that is setting the tone of like the guy showing himself to be a provider and someone
Mm,
to care for the people in his life, including his ladies. So
yeah.
that's what I got when I read that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Tanisha, by all means, let us know what you mean by the tone. I don't want to put words in
Yes.
it. Asia says, I can't expect anything. See, Asia, because we do not agree to it, but it's always nice and appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say, Asia, you gonna make me figure out a way to add sound effects for this show. This is the first show, but I'm gonna find a way because Asia keeps dropping all of
Bring
these
that
gems,
hot
and I'm
fire.
like, I gets that. Oh, okay. So Yvonne says that's terrible. Only pay for you, boo. Hold on. So I don't think any woman was planning on paying like for everything, right? Right. No, I don't think no, I don't even think that's a thing. Is any woman expected to pay like the whole ticket? Like do y'all do
No.
Tatiana, do you know any woman that have paid the whole ticket?
I saw a story time where someone got stood up and they ended up having to pay the whole thing because the guy left
Nah, that's
abruptly.
different though. I'm talking about a fully complete date. We made it all the way to the end and she picked up the whole ticket.
That sounds completely
Oh,
foreign
check
to
this
me.
out. Cynthia says she's
What?
done it before. Cynthia, give us some details. Details,
We
please.
need some
Like, what was the situation
understanding.
behind that?
Yes.
I will. Oh, but check this out though, Tatiana. That's the last time.
Hello? Hello and good night.
Oh man, yo.
Because there's a certain because we finna tap in to the subjects. We about to tap in because
Yeah,
we talk
we
about
about to. We
standards and
about to. So
expectations. It's
before
gonna
we
be
press,
good.
I want to give Tanisha the opportunity. She says the tone of he can be a provider or is a generous guy. Okay, got you,
Mm-hmm.
got you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
Oh, even Asia says she's paid for a date.
Wow.
Was it
Yeah.
was it the full ticket? That's what I need to know. Was it the full ticket though?
I also want to know if paying for a dinner weighs more than paying for an activity on a date. Because I feel like
From whose
I
perspective?
it for a
Okay.
woman, if she were to like pay for a date, would it weigh more for her to pay for a date that's a meal, like dinner, or would it would be less weighty if it was an activity like going to the movies or going to a sporting game or something like that. Like, does that make a difference what type of date it is if you're paying for the date? Because in my mind, in this little scenario that we're doing for our icebreaker, we're still at the dinner table. But I think the type of date that you go on might make an impact on how you go about approaching it. Like, oh, I want to pay for the date because I don't know, because I've done that before and I would do it again. I feel like paying for dinner, I don't know, that's kind of weird. Like, I'm so used to guys paying for dinner, but I wouldn't mind paying for a date if it's my turn to plan the date. I wouldn't mind footing the bill for that date, but the meal part, when it comes to the meal, I just be like, can you just get it? Like, if it's an activity
for food,
right? If it's an activity, like I got concert tickets before for a boyfriend or something like that considered a date, even though he didn't even like the artist. I was like, see, I'm not bringing no more. But
oh yeah.
But yeah, it was on me because I wanted to share that experience with him at the time. So you know,
that's real. So Asia gave a little bit of context. She said she's paid for movie tickets in advance. Okay,
and to me, that's an activity.
So I'm curious. Was you expecting reimbursement? Because you in advance? Like I'm looking out because we trying to get it the day that it come out. She was like, dinner? Nah. Movies? No biggie. Okay, I can dig that. Cynthia says, to your point, activity part. I would pay for the activity if it's what I want to do. And that's kind of what you were saying.
Yeah.
If it's something you want to do, you feel like, hey, like this is more so on you. Yep. I ain't mad at that. So let's see. Our second to last one. Here it is. Here it is, ladies. Y'all know we was getting to this. Kiss or no kiss to end that date.
Because sometimes, maybe you had a really great conversation, great food, the attraction was there mutually. You kind of felt that tension there. It's like, okay, this would seal the moment or the date with something memorable. So the kiss or no kiss at the end of the day, I'm a little coy. I'll take my time. I'll wait to kiss. Especially if it's a first date with someone I just met. I don't know. I wouldn't be all too comfortable kissing someone I just met on a first date.
Yeah. You make a good point. So I see your point, and I would say if it's like we've had minimal interactions prior to that first date, then I probably would hold back on kissing her just because I more than likely didn't steer the conversation in a way during dinner where I could know where her mouth been. So for that reason, I'm looking out for myself until I can gain a little bit more about her character. But see, with that in mind, I try to date women of character. So I don't know if that would necessarily be an issue, but in today's day and age, you never know. But I'll put it like this.
Corona.
Say that again.
Yeah, because we're still in the panorama. So we gotta be safe.
Facts. And I would say if I've had significant interactions with her prior to a date, then yeah, definitely a kiss after the date for sure. So let's see what the ladies are saying. So Asia, no kiss.
That's
too soon.
No kiss.
Not mad at it. Yvonne, I just can't.
That's two.
Chris is like, no kiss. I think Asia was pointing this at you, Tatiana. Keep him coming back, sis.
That's right.
Krista says, unless that connection was amazing. Okay. Paula says, no kissing for me. I don't even like kissing. I don't like swapping saliva. Hey, everybody got their.
I'm not mad at it.
I ain't mad at it. And yes, Cynthia, I did say I don't know where her mouth been yet. I don't. Like, especially if it's somebody I just met and we just exchanged numbers, slid in the DMs, however it happened. And then we quickly went out, then, I got to be cautious. I got to learn a little bit more about her. And especially since I don't have an IG, so I'm not IG stalking her to see if, she's behaving like a thought in some areas or not. So I do have to be cautious with regards to where her mouth may or may not have been. So I'm just being honest.
We got Jay Unfiltered tonight, guys.
Yeah, no filter. I'll keep it 100, keeping it above the dog. Yvonne says, no kiss, those lips move around. I'm gonna let y'all take y'all minds where y'all want to go. But Tanisha says first date, no, especially not with what's going on out here. So yeah, clearly with all of what's happening around these parts is totally
Yeah,
different. And
yeah.
that's what somebody said, pre what's goings on, a cheek kiss if it was a great date. And yeah, I am unfiltered for sure. But it's clean fun. It's clean fun. I'm keeping it a book with y'all. Keeping it a book.
It's
All
all
right,
good.
last one before we get into our topics. Do you ask or wait for a second date?
I like what one of the ladies mentioned earlier about conversation about, making sure you let the person know, the date know that you made it home safely or you're in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and that if you really like the date, like, I love tonight, I love getting to know you and everything like that. But I wouldn't go there where it's like second date. I would kind of like give him that hint, like, yeah, this would be great,
Yeah, yeah. Want to do
Um,
this again?
Yes, yes, thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth because it's not
Right,
asking for a second date, but it's definitely
mhm,
suggesting that you're open and available for one.
right. So I see Tanisha. She's saying that he can kiss her on the cheek or the forehead. So
Aw.
this is what I say. With regards to this, going back to the kissing thing. How
Mm-hmm.
do you like? Is it if a guy goes for the kiss? Are y'all just like no? Are you no? Y'all
It,
curving him? Like I mean, the brother fine. He paid for it. He opened the door. All of that. Y'all still curving?
hear,
I'm just saying.
hear me out. Hear me out. It depends. It depends. There's sometimes there's a cultural thing, right? Like
Mhm.
maybe they're European or something like that, and they're
Yeah.
used to the
Nah,
non the
let's keep
platonic.
it within our culture. Like
Fine.
a brother. Like no other man, no other persuasions. He's a brother. He checked all them boxes that y'all want to check
We
earlier
keeping it
today.
American right
And
now.
he's like, yo, listen, coming in for
Um,
that kiss. Y'all
I've
curving it?
I've
Y'all swerving?
I've been
Y'all
asked.
dodging and ducking?
Sometimes guys ask, sometimes guys literally ask you, like, can I kiss you right now? Like, would it be too
Oh
much
man,
if I
that brings
kissed
up a
you?
whole nother question. You want a guy
Yeah,
to ask?
to me, that's happened before.
Okay.
And it just depends. Like, if you have that connection and you're looking
Mhm.
at each other long enough, it
Yeah.
might happen.
I have never asked a woman if I can kiss her. Like to me, that is new. That is new. It's
I'm
come
just telling
here.
you what I experienced.
Like there's nothing more to it. Come here. Like this is about to happen. Like what are we talking about right now? Like, but I respect the brother. He was being courteous, but I feel like there's sometimes when a man, you just got to be a man. You got to be
Hmm.
a man. And if it was a good date, you vibing, she vibing, you just got to know that you can go for the kiss. And I promise you, 99.9% of the time, you will get it.
Okay, so it depends. Like, I've had both experiences where they haven't asked and when they have asked, and
Hmm.
I can't say I had a bad experience either way.
Yeah.
So it
Look,
just it
look.
just depends on the person.
You know,
Asia,
you know, you know, you know who my MVP is tonight. Asking is so weird, giving scary vibes. Boy, if you don't take charge, right?
listen.
Hold on though, Tiffany. He should ask. No,
Tiffany said you should
no, no. He
ask.
shouldn't. I'm
I'm
sorry.
not.
He should not. Don't ask. Don't ask.
I think courtesy goes a long way, and that can it. Courtesy
I
doesn't always
understand it,
mean you're
but
gonna ask. Sometimes it's getting a good room temperature check to make sure that's even wanted. If they're looking at you long enough and giving you those eyes, like come hither eyes, then you already know. You don't need to ask.
yeah. This is my point right here. Probably not curving the kiss if he goes for it, but I think he should ask unless we already know each other well. And this is the thing: as a
Hmm.
man, if I know you not curving the kiss, I'm not asking. Why? I already know what's going to happen. Like
Yeah,
then
but
you
it's
put yourself in a position of you're the guy that asks. You're the guy we're talking about on this stream right now because, bro, you just didn't have the confidence to know that you could just go in for the kiss. You don't have to wait. She's either going to curve you or guess what? You get the kiss.
hmm
You get the kiss.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh man, I love it. I love the different views in here.
Me too.
Think it's cute when a man asks permission to kiss. Okay.
And again, we're
I don't
thinking
know if
in
you
the
a woman that
context
thinks
of
that
the
way, but
first date, though. Like, let's think back to the first date.
okay.
So for me, I'm like, I don't think I don't. That's a rock and a hard place. If I'm thinking back about the first date, if they try to do like a mouth to mouth kiss on a first date,
Yeah.
I'm going to already prepare myself for not doing that, right? So I'm going to
Okay.
make sure I give myself enough distance between me and the date. You're going to get that nice hug, but in terms of a kiss, I'm not going to give you that eye contact that lets you know I want it. You know, stuff like that. Like give them some
Okay.
space so that won't happen. That's just me though.
That's real. That's real. And I hear you. I hear you. I
Because it's a
always
first
like to point
date.
out
Like I
for
don't
any of
know
the
you,
men that's
sir.
watching or will watch the replay, you see the ladies are saying they ain't gonna curve it either. They want you to ask, but at the same time, I promise you, the alpha gets the kiss. Like, and that's real.
And does the
So he
alpha
says,
get the
no, he can be
second
real
date?
manly with the ask. Really, he can? Okay. But I hear what Krista is also saying. Consent is sexy nowadays. I mean, I feel
Amen.
like, yeah, you
Consent.
need consent in certain things, but we're talking about a kiss. Like, we're not talking about a man that's trying to do anything beyond that. By all means, you need consent to do those
Yeah.
things for sure. You
Kiss.
definitely
You know
don't want to hear
what?
the word no.
Let me say
Keep
that. Let
moving,
me say this to Krista's
please.
point. This current season of Married at First Sight, which is crazy by the way.
Uh-huh.
One of the contestants on there is a woman. She didn't want to kiss her husband
Hmm.
for weeks. They didn't kiss for a while, and usually couples kiss at the wedding. And she was like, "No, he gonna give me a
They didn't
cheek
kiss at the
kiss.
wedding?
A cheek. She gave her that cheek, or gave him
At
that
the
cheek.
wedding. On
Yes, at the altar for everybody." And so so he kind of got to go through the ringer with her. So everybody's different. Sometimes she said to her kissing was very intimate, so she didn't want to just do that with somebody she just met, even though that was
You
technically
mean
her
somebody
husband.
you just married, sis? Like, come on. Like, are you serious? You would marry him, but you wouldn't kiss him? I
There's
call
like,
BS all day, every day. What are we talking about?
it
Something
sounds
wrong with her
like,
mental, man.
yo, like there's that one in every season of Married at First Sight. I'm not kidding. Like there's always that one that's extra reserved who doesn't want to be open to the experiment because they want to do things their way. And there's a little more context to her story as we went along with that. Mila was not into Gil. Girl, thank you. Thank you.
Yo, welcome, welcome. Ebony, welcome.
Yes. Gil was
So
too
I'm guessing
fat.
that's the dude she's talking about. So it don't sound like Ebony would be, she wouldn't
She
have had a problem kissing him on the altar, I'm assuming.
no, no. Yes, thank you, Ebony. She was definitely giving Karen vibes from the New Orleans season 2 seasons ago. See, my people know. We're not gonna get into Married at First Sight right now. I just wanted to
Right.
touch on that moment because it's like there are some women who literally take kissing seriously,
Hmm.
and they wouldn't want to just be kissing anybody all willy nilly on the first date.
That's real. That's
I'm
real.
just saying.
Respect. Respect. So, with that being said, we can go ahead and get into tonight's first topic. So, that's standards versus expectations.
All right, y'all.
So, we touched on it a little bit throughout our icebreaker with regards to the different standards that people have and the different expectations that women have. And I'll give some context. This discussion actually came up with some of the ladies that's in the chat that's a part of the Sunday Bible study that I do. You know, shout out to
Yay!
Cynthia, Krista, Karen, and Tanisha.
You guys are
And
awesome.
we were talking about this topic of the 50-50 day. You know, some men that
Mhm.
pay. And there were some people that felt that it's the standard for men to pay for the date. And I firmly believe that it's an expectation and not so much a standard. So I just want to get your thoughts on what do you think a standard is versus what an expectation is?
I had to do the guest preacher move when they do a sermon and they give a definition of what their topic is before they get into the message. So,
Yes.
so I was like, let me look up what standards and what expectations are. So
Mhm.
I don't think that they're synonyms because they're not.
Nope.
According to the definition, a standard is a guideline to follow by. Basically, the rules, a set of things that you stick to.
Hmm.
You don't try to stray away from them or try to change them.
Hmm.
Whereas expectations are more like personal, subjective ideas that you have, hopes. Like it would
Hmm.
be great if he paid for the date, but standard for a date may not necessarily mean that he pays every time. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it's yeah, I think they're really different.
I agree. And if I can simplify it, because I was having a conversation, honestly, a couple months back, um, with one of my close bros, and he was going through a situation with a young lady, and there was this conversation about standards and expectations, and I was like, "Well, bro, like, give me the definition. How do
Yeah.
you see it?" And he broke it
Mm-hmm.
down really clear to me. And standards apply to the individual themselves. It's something that you
Mm-hmm.
hold
Interesting.
yourself to. I kind of view it similar to like a principle. A
Okay.
principle can be applied to any person, but you
Right.
have to choose to apply that principle to your life. And when you mention like guidelines, when you think about company guidelines and standards or industry standard, it's
Right.
been set within that industry. That doesn't mean that every other industry has to adopt that same standard. It is the industry or that job or that individual that says this is the standard that we or I am choosing to hold my own self to.
Mm-hmm.
Expectations are what you are going to project on other people, where it's something that you believe or you feel or you think or you expect to happen. And now you're saying that other person must meet this quote unquote standard. That's what people typically want to call it. No, you want them to meet your
Mm.
expectations.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
What's your take
So,
on
so I think there are societal standards when it comes to dating that often go unsaid
that?
because
Okay.
we make assumptions that we are grown, therefore we should know better. Like, so some of them can go either way depending on
Okay.
how we were raised, right? So there's a standard that you go to dinner or you share a meal, you break bread. That's not necessarily the case for every date. You don't have to go to, but that seems like a trend or something that goes along the line of that. You break
Right.
a meal together. Um, these other things that happen, these other nuances that are out nowadays, like meeting up at the place or even paying 50-50, those are nuances. And I
Hmm.
think those are those expectations depending on the individual. So
Right.
I think tradition
Hmm.
set a standard for society, whoever that was, decades ago, that
Hmm.
suggested that in a dating situation or even courtship, a man would do XYZ for the woman and
Right.
the woman would do XYZ for the man.
Hmm.
And then as we progressed and got more modernized and technology improved and stuff like that, and the differences in economics and all that, like women
Right.
going to work and working for themselves and delaying having a family, like all those come into play in
Hmm.
terms of how we keep those standards that were set at the beginning.
Right.
So even to this point where we had our icebreaker, there were different people going with what each scenario brought up, right? So it's like, okay, we have these things that happen on a date. This is usually what happens, but people have different opinions due to their own experiences, or they may see them as expectations.
Right. That's real. And you see, I put a comment up from Asia, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this sums up what I was saying. Standards are what you set for yourself because you have control over that. And expectations, you don't have control over it, and it can be quite unfair to put on someone. I agree with what she just said wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Especially if you
like,
don't express them, right?
right, definitely. And that kind of goes into something that I've talked at length on the Right to Real Love podcast is how important verbal communication is. If you have a expectation, you need to communicate it verbally.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
need to. You need to. And I say it all the time, like when we talk about the whole 50-50 date thing, right? I've shared with women on the podcast previously that if you want to know whether a guy is going to expect you to pick up half the bill or the whole thing or whether he's going to pay, you don't have to come outright or directly say, "Hey, you paying for the meal? You expecting 50-50?" Like, you don't have to do it like that. I always say that you can throw a softball by just asking the person, "Hey, what's your perspective on who pays the date?" It's
Mm-hmm.
totally not directed at him. It's not directed at you. It's directed at that topic, that thought, that perspective in general. And you can kind of get an idea for what you may be able to expect. I feel like then your expectations can either become more realistic or unrealistic based on what's
Mm-hmm.
real to you. And let's
Yeah.
see what we got in the chat. So Yvonne says, first off, first dates always make her nervous. I expect
Um.
them to pay, but at the end of the day, I make sure she makes sure she's good. which allows her to know that she's good no matter what. Right. And I feel like that's the sentiment that a lot of women have is, you guys mentioned earlier about, bringing money along, making sure you have that in case you need it.
Mm-hmm.
But the expectation is that the man should pay.
Yeah, that just in case money that we don't really want to use,
Right. Right.
but we don't want to be
Clearly, y'all
out
don't.
here by ourselves, without it.
It's like the emergency fund. Like,
Yep.
y'all not really trying to tap into that right now.
Nah.
So then Asia says again, you cannot have an expectation that was not agreed to with the other person.
That's
And
fair, right?
I'll say this, you can. It may not be met though.
That's true. And even if you do, share that, that doesn't mean that they're obligated to meet those expectations. But if you are in the process of developing a relationship,
Mhm.
definitely do the work of setting your expectations or making them known so you don't grow resentment or, feel some kind of way, feel slighted because
Mhm.
they did something that didn't line up with what you expected them to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Ebony says to her, 50-50, if a man asks her out, it is a no-go. Unless it was understood, we will be friends. Yeah, and that's kind of what came out earlier, is the whole 50
Mm-hmm.
thing. That kind of is like some friend zone type
It gives
territory,
friend zone vibes. I'm sorry.
for some women. And she says maybe that's a traditional thought. Yeah, communication is the key. It is. Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. Yep.
Def-
And this right here, another golden nugget from Asia. Silent expectations will lead
Amen.
to disappointment. Right?
Amen.
So when we talk about dating in particular,
Mm-hmm.
what do you feel like as a woman are some of the societal standards?
For women
Yeah.
on a date,
Mhm.
standards for us. Let's see. Some of the standards I think for women are to, I guess, be appreciative that they're on a date. I don't know. It's like we're receiving all the treatment.
Right.
So there is an expectation for one to be treated well on the date. Um, Ask the wrong guy, he may tell you that she's obligated to put out because he put in so much of his time and his money on her, which I definitely don't agree with. So I think the standards for women are often in a place where it's like she should be taken care of, she should be treated well.
Right.
So that's what comes to mind first in terms of the standards.
Okay. Yeah. And from a male perspective, I feel like the standard is that a woman should first be appreciative of what the man is doing, especially where he's taking her. Like I feel like that's the
Mhm.
first thing because you show him honor, you show him respect by being appreciative of his time. 'Cause what did I say? With men, it's all about our time and our space. If a man is taking his time, he's allowing you into his space. The least you can do is appreciate that occasion, right? So I would say that's the standard that men have off rip. And I'll be honest, like there are some men, as you mentioned, that for them, they need to know whether or not a woman is down with their program. And their program is, get, getting to it, getting to close
Right.
the deal, right? That is definitely some men's standard, especially when we talk about society as a whole. And I think that's why it's so important for women, primarily women of faith, to be aware of that, right? You got to know how
Mm-hmm.
to navigate these waters. And if you understand that for a lot of men in today's society, and I gotta say this, I have to say this, can't go without saying it. Even many Christian men have that same standard. So this is where I feel like a lot of the ladies have to not just know this, because I get women saying all the time, like, I know that. I know it's both men in the world and Christian men that are expecting sex, but then you don't really acknowledge it because you don't make any changes to how you approach your dating scene. You don't change your approach. You don't adapt. You just continue to stay rigid, continue to look at it the same way, and think that everybody is just going to get into how you perceive dating. No, if you're operating in the minority, you need to learn how to navigate the majority.
Yeah, and do it with wisdom and discernment. Because just because everybody, like, let's say a lot of people are like sleeping with each other, in the dating process. Yeah, that's maybe a modern thing versus traditional, but you don't always have to go that route. You still have to stick to your internal standards. that you have, whether they line up with the word of God or whether you just have your own personal moral code that you want to live by. Because when you're operating as an individual, trying to figure out who you want to partner with in life, you're going to meet people all the time that don't agree with your standards, who may not be able to meet your expectations. So it just, yeah, that's part of the dating process, unfortunately. But, we're all different people choosing our own ways to do things. So just find the right one that meets that criteria for you.
Okay. Interesting question from Yvonne. What defines a friend?
Hmm.
What's your take on that?
What defines a friend? It's like a person that you choose to have in your life that you can develop an intimate relationship with. That's not romantic, because romantic takes it to another level for obvious reasons. But you can be intimate and do life with this person, and they can support you, can support them. Is someone that you can choose versus family members that you are related to. You can't really choose family. You choose if you want to connect with that family member. But in terms of a friend, you can choose that friend. Like, hey, we have a common interest or something like that, or we have common goals that we're going for. There's different types of friendships too. So it just depends on what kind of friend you want. But usually someone that you choose to have in your life.
Right, right. So then this right here, you can pay for yourself, but I think it can be a partnership later if the relationship progresses, right? So I
Hmm.
bring this, I know this goes to something that we were talking about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to hit on this for a moment because I think this will be a topic for a later show, which
Mm-hmm.
is partnership what a man and woman should be aiming for in a relationship, in a marriage? What's your take? And
Mm.
we can dive deeper at a later date, but I just kind of want to, get your thoughts off the top on that.
I think a partnership is like to me, it's a team. You have a common goal. If you and I are partnering on something, we agree on something. How
Mhm.
can two walk together unless they agree, right? So it's
Right.
like we
Amos 3
have,
and 3.
if we're partners, that means we agreed on something to do something. So
Mhm.
in terms of a relationship, if you're doing like a partnership with them, y'all both have the same idea that we're in it to accomplish XYZ goals.
Right.
Because sometimes people don't go in it like a partnership because they're coming at it with a selfish mentality,
Mhm.
or it's like tit for tat. They feel like they need to go in for themselves on survivor mode. But when you want to have a partnership, you want to support each other to get to the same thing because y'all both want the same thing.
That's real. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I feel like what you said is on point. And it's interesting because I feel like a relationship and a marriage can definitely have elements of a partnership, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there are also limitations to partnerships that people don't often take into consideration. And I'll leave it there because I think that'll be great to dive into at a later date for sure. So we had
Yes,
a comment come in from Asia. She says, I think when it comes to standards, that women sometimes forget that men have standards too. Hey,
absolutely.
Asia, you gonna make me go get the sound effects because I promise you, you're dropping so many gems right now. I'm loving it. So being able to respect both standards is important. That's right, and
Yes,
that's what I'm talking about when I say that women need to acknowledge what men's standards are. You may not agree with them the same way a woman says her standards is, hey, you better pay for the meal. Some men don't agree with it, and guess what? Those people aren't in alignment, like we talked about before. So it's better to know up front how the two of y'all are not gonna mesh at
that's
all.
that's the truth about the dating process. You're literally
Right.
collecting data to get to know if this is someone that you could partner with, or as Asia continued to say, build a unity with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the partnership, but we are a unit, we are one. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Yeah,
Real. Yo, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I get you. No worldly partnership, right? Yeah, no worldly spiritual partnership, right?
that
And we
part.
have the two becoming one, and I think that
Equally
that's important,
yoked.
right? Because that breeds legacy too. Because it's not just a spiritual oneness, but we know that when we look at it in Genesis, that oneness between the man and woman is the child, right? The child
Mm-hmm.
that they're bringing into the world. That's their
Mm-hmm.
two becoming one, an entirely new human being, and that builds on the legacy that those two people bring into this world. And it's
Yes.
deep. It's deep, and I like what Asia said again about unity, because what does that child become a part of? The family unit.
Right, the
So yeah,
team. Mm-hmm.
that's real. That's real. Oh, here we go. Data is key. Ebony is right. But
Get that
here's what I would have
information.
to say, Ebony, too, right? It's what people do with the data too. Anybody who has ever worked in a field where you have to collect data, it's meaningless if you do nothing with it. It's just like the stats and the analytics, right? For content creators, it means nothing if we don't actually do anything about it. If we don't do anything with those analytics, with those stats to help us grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I say that to say, ladies collect data on dates,
Please
but do
do.
they actually go back and say, oh man, I can improve in this area. I need to, make these changes, adapting, adapting. And if I can say this, Tatiana, I feel like men have done a better job at adapting to the changes in society's view and perspective on dating than women have.
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa. Where did this come
yeah.
from? Where is this going? Where is this
Because
going?
men
Do we
actually
have
take the
time to cover
time to
this?
do what I just got through talking about. They
Mm-hmm.
don't just collect the data, but they analyze the data and they make the necessary changes. And guess
Well,
what? For some men, they use it to their benefit.
that's true. I'll give you that. I do believe that men are more like logical and women are more
Right.
emotional. However, yeah, and so they are more shrewd about theirs. So I've seen it before. Unless the guy has some kind of like emotional issue or something like that, if they see something they don't like in their date, they're not going to date them again unless they can get easy access to the cookies. All right,
See,
but
and this is what separates men from women, because Ebony's like, make a graph. Now we not gonna make no graph, but we definitely gonna analyze the data. See, that's where the details of a woman comes in. And when you have that unit, it's beautiful because I'll plot the chart and you can make the graph, babe.
hmm and sometimes
Love it. But
women,
nah, you were saying, I apologize for cutting you off.
no worries. Like sometimes women, we see the potential a guy has and we'll give him a chance, and then we get caught
Mhm.
up in the emotional part when the truth is the data that they were presenting to us on the dates that we've been on, the conversations we've had, those were your opportunities to either keep going or back away.
Right.
Some guys, most guys, do not do it like that. They be like, oh, red flag, out. It's been real. I'm gonna ghost you. I'm gonna find somebody else. I'm gonna see my other options because that's how they move.
Yeah.
We as women are a little different. So I
Right.
think we need to consider like how we approach it, and maybe that ties into what you just said
Mhm.
earlier, Jay, about men have adapted a little more. But to me, it seemed like it's been like that for a while.
Yeah. And I'll throw this out there for you and all of the women in the chat. It's a small challenge, but I think it's an easy one. What is something that you've observed through the course of you on the dating scene that led you to change or adapt to the current situation?
The current situation.
Yeah, the
Um,
current dating scene. Like, what's what's something? I'll simplify it. What's something you've changed about your approach to dating?
probably be sticking to certain boundaries, like
Such as?
and such as like not getting too comfortable in the beginning, because you gotta provide some kind of challenge for guys. Gotta let them know they can't just earn their way into your life. Because some guys out here have no homes and they try to use their smooth talking to move into your house, to move into your life, to take advantage of you. Like, I think we have to adapt to the schemes of guys who are no good for us.
Mhm.
So we have to be like a little shrewd about that or vigilant.
That's real. So let's see what the ladies in the chat say. So Ebony says coming in without serious
That's
expectations.
a good
And she
one.
says, especially when it comes to online dating. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I think that is definitely something that I know as a man, I've had to tailor is my expectations. You have to. As women begin to evolve and change, because they definitely have, uh, you have to make changes to what you expect.
mm-hmm.
And to be honest, in some cases, depending on what a man is after, some of those expectations are changed in a way where it can be more beneficial to them getting what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're being honest, I feel like if you go 10, 20 years ago, the standards that the average woman, right? The average woman has, it's a lot less. And her expectations are even lower than her standards. So it makes it easy for men that are prowling on those type of women that, they want to get, like I said, they want to cross home field with.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. I always thought that I remember doing a project in school where I had to survey people, asking them if they were more traditional than modern. And a lot of people said traditional, even though there's some modern elements of dating that they liked. So I
mhm,
think at the end of the day, men and women have internalized core standards that they adhere to, that they make a part of how they operate in dating. And
mhm,
so that can kind of seep through how they expect the opposite sex to behave on a date without saying it. And then if there's something unique to that individual, they need to be good at expressing their expectations so that they either get their need met from that person or they find that in another person.
that's right.
Because I think we all want to be loved, we all want to be respected, we all want that effort put in towards like, oh, this person wants me. Like you should never have to question that.
Right,
So I think we all have those same desires. They just seem to interpret themselves in different ways because men and women are different.
right. That's facts. That's big facts. That's big facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ebony says, make them work for it. Yes, T. She with that. Work for the heart. No doubt. No doubt.
There's
Yeah, I go with
levels.
that. So there. Oh, what's up? Welcome, Kenya. Kenya
Hey.
says the lies and the games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that is
think
something
those are
that has
different. Even
changed.
those are
Like
different now than they were 10 years ago.
it is, man. It is. Like I'll be honest. That's one of the things that I had to change. I used to be immature, and I would lie. I would play games, and that's definitely something that I've had to change about my approach, wanting to be, and not just wanting to be, but working at being a man of character. Is
Mm-hmm.
there are certain things that you just got to stop, and to be completely honest, you really don't have to lie. Like I feel like back in the day when women's standards and their expectations was a lot higher, a lot of men did have to lie to women to get them to do things that they want them to do. But
Mm-hmm.
now, like women's standards have lowered to a certain expectation. And mind you, when I say this, I'm talking about the average woman, right? Her standards have evolved and lowered to now men don't have to lie. You can just be honest and tell a woman what it is. And oftentimes she either gonna be down with the program or she's not.
There's both. There's both. Oh my gosh, I hate using this terminology, but it's in these conversations in these spaces, especially here on YouTube. You have an audience of people that are more prone to wanting a certain lifestyle, and so they don't want to date someone who doesn't fit that lifestyle that they want. And then there's the women who are just like, I'll take any man as long as he's breathing, like give him a chance, you know? But it it may not go well for them
Right.
because that man is not ready for what they really want. So,
Oh, that's big fact.
yeah,
Big facts. Tanisha says some men like to say, "Don't overthink the situation and just let it flow." You should have some standards, though.
that can be
I agree.
troubling. That
Yeah.
can be troubling. Like when you say like just go with the flow, but you have an idea in your mind like, "Oh, I have the standard that I want to get married within a year." Maybe that's something you want. And if
Mhm.
that person like go with the flow, they don't have any mentions of the future, then that needs you need to either ask those questions, have that brave conversation like, "Hey, so what are your thoughts about the future? What are your thoughts about marriage?" Stuff like that. Get that
Right.
information before you assume, because maybe they just want to take their time before they do something, anything serious like that. And that's okay.
I get
But
it.
you want to make sure that y'all are on the same timeline.
Right. Yo, that's real. That's real. So let's see. It says Asia has. What's crazy is the standards have become so low, but the expectation. Asia, MVP. Asia, like, yo, I gotta get you an MVP award. Like, yo, like
We need a graphic for MVP of the
we
night.
do. Like, I am, you know me. You know what I
It's
originally had
coming.
planned for this. So I'm gonna be working behind the scenes to figure out how we can hand out an MVP at the end of
Yay!
every one of our sessions. And I love everybody in the chat, but I promise you, Asia has just been tugging at my little heartstrings all night because
Oh,
she's hitting on my levels, man. I'm telling you, those standards have become low and those expectations on men so high. So
social media is a culprit of that.
how
Because
so? How do
we're
you think
seeing
it plays a role?
because we're seeing just the image of what a good relationship looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know all the stuff going on behind the scenes. And usually it's people who are miserable, who have settled for less in their life because maybe that person provided for them a certain lifestyle or a certain appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they have betrayed their personal standards, their moral code for an opportunity to get something that was flashy and fun, maybe romantic, but it wasn't sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's real. That's real. Cynthia says, something I've changed is asking more personal questions while dating to really get to know him, not many surface questions. That's key.
That's a good one.
That's key. Yeah. Yep. You got to start to dive into those deep waters because it'll let you know whether or not you're dealing with a shallow person, and especially for
Mm-hmm.
women. Because this is the
Yes.
thing. One of the things that those men that only want that one thing from you, they want to. They're not trying to go in the deep end. Like they want to keep it in the kiddie pool, right? Like keep it there in the kiddie pool.
Right.
No deep diving. Now we good on all of that. No deep sea, no ocean. Kiddie pool activities. That's it. They want to play just like the kids do. That's all they want to do is just play. Yo, you got to be serious about going off that diving board. You got to be serious about there being out in that ocean. But the kiddie pool, anybody can jump in there. You know,
Yeah, like we're over 30 talking about favorite colors and stuff. No, tell me about your goals, your dreams, your vision. Like, what have you learned over the past 2 years in this pandemic about yourself? Like, let's talk about let's go deep.
oh man, yo, you said favorite color. I hope nobody is asking those questions. Like,
Not on no
oh
first
man, yo,
date.
nah, grown folks should not be asking. Grown folks should not be asking what's your favorite color. Like, I mean, if it come out in the midst of conversation, but like, nah, man, those aren't the questions. You like, so, what's your favorite color? Like, nah, man, don't do that. Do not do that. Oh, look. Uh-oh. Ebony says, interrogate them early. Now, I got to call a flag. I'm not a fan of the interrogation.
Is it the
I don't,
word or is it the intention?
I don't like the word. I don't
Okay.
like the words. And I'll be honest. If the intention is to, like Cynthia had mentioned, ask more personal questions to get to know the person better, I
To
get
vet
that.
them. Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you right now, this is one of those differences between men and women. If a man feels like you are interrogating him, you know what I told y'all is like the equivalent to open the door, appreciating it. Nah, I don't appreciate having to go down to the station and spend my time across from the detectives and they asking me all of these questions. And if
Mm-hmm.
a man is sitting across from a woman and she's interrogating him, asking all of these questions, that is not the vibe.
Yeah,
That is not the
that
vibe.
makes
And I
sense.
can just let y'all
Yeah,
know that right now.
that's a mood killer. Okay, okay.
What's your take
Respectfully.
on that though? You agree, disagree?
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants 21 questions, especially if you ask it like that, where it's like you're drilling that person or even interviewing them, right? Sometimes they don't want to hear that in that way. There's a way to get the information you're looking for a little more subtly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. Facts. And then Asia adds on, she says, absolutely, Cynthia. Asking questions, you will find out what you need. You can put a wig on a pig, but it's still a pig. So true colors gon' show. The MVP again. Like, yo, somebody get her a championship ring out here. You feel me? She out
Yes.
here balling like Jordan tonight, man. I feel like I don't think you missed yet, Asia.
She's bringing the heat
Yo,
tonight. We
Tanisha said, I
appreciate you,
love it. They
Asia.
love the kiddie shit, the shallow kiddie pool when they're not looking for anything serious. Facts. Facts.
And so you gotta figure that out, like what
Right.
is, before you go too far with someone. Like,
Right.
okay, are you for real or are you just trying
Right.
to play around?
But check it out. We live in to stick with the analogy. A lot of the women are like, I don't want to get my hair wet anyway.
Woo, that sounds like commitment
So they stay in the
issues.
kiddie pool.
That sounds like two people who aren't really ready for commitment finding each
Right.
other.
Right.
Ooh, child. Okay.
So yeah. Oh, check this out. I love it. I'm all about being objective. Krista says, I don't think women like being interrogated.
Nope. Where you
No,
been at?
nobody does.
What you been doing?
Have
All
y'all
that
ever
kind of
seen the
stuff.
first 48? Nobody is like, oh man, I can't wait till you get me in that room, officer. No,
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants that.
That part. It's uncomfortable, and it doesn't seem like there's no conversation. It's just like you're asking questions because you want to know. Like I've seen like Instagram videos about that, like where you live, were you married before? Why'd you break up? Do you have kids? How many? Why don't you have kids? Stuff like that. It's like no one wants to really be in a situation like that, especially
No,
if you feel like this could go somewhere, but then they bring that on you. But
no,
okay.
no. It's real. And Ebony, I knew you was playing. I knew you was playing, Ebony. But I know that there are some women who are not playing. They really do be about what Tatiana was just sharing. They got the questions lined up, and it feels like an interrogation for some men. So, yeah,
Hmm.
most definitely, most definitely. So let's see which one. Okay, Krista says there are men trying to wipe you up after a few days because you answered their questions right, and it's creepy. Yeah, I don't think no man should be trying to make you his wife after a few days.
Everybody
Like
needs
that
to
that
vet
is a
each
red
other.
flag.
Yeah, that gives love bombing vibes,
Yeah.
which is like a tendency that narcissists have. But
Mm,
yeah, you gotta be careful like that. Everybody
yeah.
needs to vet each other.
Right.
It's mutual vetting. Figure it out if you want to be with that person.
Right. Right. Now I got something that I want to tack onto that. So
Okay.
this is for all of my spiritually inclined people, my faith-based people in the building here, right? Similar to what she just got through saying, Krista. What about a man telling you after a few days, God then revealed to me, Tatiana, you my wife to be, girl.
Run.
Run.
Like Joseph did with Potiphar's wife. Run.
Yo,
Dad,
yo.
that's scary. I usually say I'm like, oh yeah, someone told God told you allegedly that I'm your wife. Make sure you call him on three ways and put me on so I can hear it too, because he gonna say
Right.
it again.
Did he leave a message?
Did you get a text and I didn't get it? Let me check my phone, because
Yo, I ain't
clearly
gonna
my
hold you up.
phone
The,
app.
the first question I'll be want to ask is, what God was that you heard from?
Uh,
I'm gonna need to know. I'm
because there's
curious to
many
know what God. I
gods.
mean, is
There are
just let
many
me know. I
gods,
just
but
want to
only
make
one
sure
true living
we.
God. Amen.
Hold on, say that again.
There are many gods. Oh yes, but there's only one true living God, and He is what?
All right,
Not the
we got to
God
make
of
sure you hear from the
confusion.
right one.
He's not the God of confusion. So,
Oh man, yo, that is too funny. That is too funny.
well, we're seeing some really interesting responses in here. Yes.
Yes, if God revealed it to you, He will reveal it to me. Boo, relax.
Hashtag relax.
You
I
know,
love
you
it.
know the MVP coming through in the clutch.
Yes.
Tiffany is like, yo, that is so true, so true. Oh, check this out. Kenya says men are scripted once you go off script. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? In what aspect do you feel like men are scripted? And then once you go off script, what's happening after that? Oh,
And
she
it,
says after you go off script, there's malfunction.
ooh, hmm.
Now, are you talking about in regards to the brother that think you his wife, or God revealed it to him? Is then I could imagine he would have a malfunction. That might be a crisis of faith for him to a certain extent. If he really thought he was hearing. And Tatiana is like, no, no, sir, you did not hear
Nah.
from the Lord.
Yeah, we're gonna wait it out a little bit to see if that's true. We need some
Yeah,
confirmations out here in these streets.
right. And that's the thing. Like, if a man is telling you that, are y'all really waiting for the confirmations, though, ladies? Are you?
Oh, for me, no.
Yeah,
That would creep me out. Honestly, that'd
right.
be kind of a turnoff. Like, why are
I
we
feel like if
rushing
you get
this?
if
Why
you
can't
getting
you
those
keep that to
words
yourself? I've
right,
seen it. I've seen it on both sides, Jay, where women I know told men that they were their wives, and it completely went wrong. It went. It didn't even. Nothing came of it. You know what I'm saying? Because the guy was turned off. It's a turn off to say something like that so early.
mm-hmm,
You have
mm-hmm.
no foundation whatsoever, and you're coming out of the blue talking about something. Um, it's it's the 2020s. We can afford to wait. We really
Right,
can. Some things
right.
just need to be between you and God for a season. Write it in your journal. Keep it to yourself
Mm-hmm.
until you're proven otherwise.
Yo, Yvonne said it's either wife or they are not ready. No in between. Get therapy. Yo, you better say it. Yo, that's real. That is real, man. Yo, I love it. I love it. So let's transition into our second topic of the night. And this is about to get heavy right here. This is the whole dumping a partner after you come up, baby. The come up. So
Mm,
y'all know we gotta put something on the screen to share with y'all.
that
This
part.
right here.
Ooh, child. Did y'all see this online? It was trending on Twitter maybe a week or two ago, and people are having their conversations about it. So we'll let y'all read it.
You want to read that for the people, Tatiana?
Sure. This guy says it's a young man. I think he's from South Africa, but I don't think his location matters. It's the mentality for me. I can't believe my girlfriend really think that I'm gonna marry her and we'll live happily ever after. Soon as I get a decent job, I'm gonna leave her and start dating my types. The F? Crying,
Wow.
crying eye emoji. Like, wow. For real, when I was talking to Jay about this, bringing up this topic, I was like, he sounds like a villain giving the hero the whole plot right before he takes him out.
Right.
What is this? And
Right.
guys watching, please do not take this mentality on because it's truly evil. It's so
All
evil.
right.
And Jay said it was
Yo,
savage.
that is very savage. That is very savage. So what I'm gonna do, because I see people that saying, yo, they got something to say about this. So if anybody want to join the stream and share your thoughts with us on cam, I'm about to
Yes,
drop the link.
we would
I'm
love to
dropping
hear
the
y'all.
StreamYard link. If I see
Yes,
anybody come in, we will add you to the stream. Come in and join us. But
yes.
I have to be honest, like this is savage. Like let's just see what the chat is saying. I think it's manipulative. Krista says he's a mess. Ebony, horrible. Yvonne, no. Ebony with the real crying emoji.
Oh.
Then we got Tanisha says, some men say that in order to get you, hold on, no, some men say that in order to get you to let your guard down. Oh, that's what they say? What, this? This right here? I don't know if no woman go. I don't think this. I think you might be referring to something else because you can't mean this. I think this should put guards up instead
Maybe
of.
that's the God told you my wife line.
Yeah, that's probably what that one was for. That's probably what that was for. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Cynthia says it is evil. Just be single.
Some some things are just not worth that stress. And it's the audacity to me. Like this that's been my word of the year, audacity, because we've seen it
Yeah.
in so many different ways from all kinds of people. And he's definitely fits the bill for audacity. The nerve.
Right.
It's like you have every intention
Mm-hmm.
to waste this girl's time.
Right.
And maybe they're oblivious to it, they don't know about it, they don't have Twitter or social media, and it's just like it's mind-blowing to think this person took their thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
put it on the internet. You see all those retweets, you see all
Right.
those quotes, you see all those likes.
Look at the likes though. They're loving it.
Toxic. Bro, it's toxic out here. As the Brits
Very.
say, he's moving mad.
Yo, to me, it was the F that got me. It's like, yo, it's like, cause the F is like, she don't know, like she doesn't know this.
Like,
Why are we acting like she doesn't already know?
it's giving he feels like he's the prize, therefore he can move however he wants.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Like I look at that, and it's savage. That when you shared that with me for the first time, I was like, yo, that's savage mode. And this is what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are a number of people, both men and women, who have this perspective. But I don't think you should ever publicly let that be known. Honestly, I don't even think you should verbally speak those words, especially in the company of people who it may get back to that person. And I can't
And it
imagine this
should.
not getting back.
Yes. That's wild to me. That is just wild. and the fact that so many people agree with that post by liking it, maybe they're saving it because they're liking
I
it
hope that's
because
what
it's
that is, right?
ridiculous. But yo, it's kind of like I don't know. It's like ooh, bad
Asia, you
intentions.
ready to come on? Like we about to put Asia on right now. We about to
Let's
bring the MVP into the
go.
building.
Hey
What is up, Asia?
Asia.
The MVP.
Am I on?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yep.
hear you. What's
Oh,
up?
hey, everybody.
Welcome.
First of all, I've enjoyed y'all so much. Y'all have been the
Oh,
We
entertainment.
have been enjoying you.
Right?
yes.
Like, I am super engaged in this conversation. So, y'all are doing great. Let me start
Thank
off
you.
with it.
Thank you.
And this is my first time seeing this, actually. But
Oh, snap. Even
I haven't
better.
seen it. So honestly, you guys, just reading it, I'm not really surprised. What I got from this is he's saying he about to, when he get a full-time job or a better job and get some money, he's going to elevate his life. And he feels like that the money will be able to buy him or
Mhm.
expose him to a different type of woman. So what
Right.
I would ask him, and I guess what anybody should ask themselves when they're with someone is, can money buy this person? Because sometimes you with somebody that money can't buy what they offer. So it don't
Mhm.
matter if you got a million or zero. This type of person, they loyalty, they love is just unmatched, and money cannot present that. So I think in this case, it's more of like a physical thing for him. It's more of like what my homeboy is gonna say, like a real immature perspective. But this happened every
Yeah.
single day.
It does.
So
It does.
Yeah,
Oh man.
exactly.
Yo,
Um,
Asia, you've been dropping bars all day. And I'm in complete agreement with you. I think that here's the thing that caught me off guard, right? It doesn't even seem like, like most people are like, once they get famous, they'll do it, right? They drop her once they got the millions in the bank, the billions in the bank. But this brother, it just seemed like, yo, if I just get that job, making maybe about 10,000 more a year, like I'm cutting you loose. It's just like once I'm able to upgrade and move out of this apartment and get in a condo or a house or something, I'm cutting you loose. And I felt like that to me is like he's not even really setting the bar that high before she's gone.
but look at the generation we're living in. I mean, he feels like he's catering to what women want. We living
Mhm.
in every woman wants a high value man right now. Every woman wants a
mhm.
man that's, bringing home the money. And I get it.
Right.
Most women want a financially stable man. So to him, he's appealing to what women want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. He's trying to live up to that standard that's being set. And it
Mhm.
looks like it's backfiring on the current girlfriend. And that's what it comes to. Like, there's some women who unfortunately end up being the starter boo, the starter bae, the starter wife.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize that that person that they're with, that they gave a chance to, and they had potential, and they went to build with, ends up building and builds right up out of their lives.
Right.
And that's to me, I feel like that's the risk that comes with being in a relationship with anyone,
Mm-hmm.
especially when maybe they don't have anything or
Right.
they have ambitions to build something, and you help them in your goodwill and trying to be a good woman to your man and stuff like that. There is a risk there on both ends, honestly. But in this situation, it's not really benefiting the lady because he has already made up in his mind he's going to leave her one day.
Wow. Yeah. And I got to give a shout out to Tanisha, right? Because she shared with me maybe like a week ago, she shared a video of an interview that April Mason was doing. And
Mhm.
April Mason, she highlighted something that I had to agree with wholeheartedly with her, in that women have to stop building for and with men. Like, you amplify, you don't build with him, sweetheart. And I agree with her entirely. Like, because this type of stuff happens when you try to do that. When you say, hey, I'm gonna be the one that builds you up. Nah, like what April was saying was that a man should already be building before you even come in the picture. Like if he's just static and then you come in there and now we're starting to see some movement,
Right.
yo, you better be building with yourself in mind.
We
For
need
real.
receipts, bruh. Like, where's the consistency at? It comes down to
Right.
consistency and character and integrity. Like, what have you been doing your whole single season
Right.
before I came around, and vice versa? Like, the woman should have. It's like that table conversation. What do you bring to the table? Like, what can you show for yourself that you have done to show me that you are capable of handling future ideas, visions, plans, that purposes that God has for us?
That's real. Now, Asia, I'm curious. How would you feel if this was your boyfriend? Like, like what would your response be if this tweet got back to you?
Look, y'all wouldn't know him no more. I tell you that. You wouldn't know him no more. He
Sorry
wouldn't
to that
be something
man.
else. No, I'm just kidding. Look, I would feel honestly really disrespected. I would hope that he just talking and just wanted to just be trolling and just go viral or something, because I would just hate. I would feel really just like that. Like that's how you feel. Like
Right.
you ain't that great. You know, it would just cause me to get really defensive, and I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
you know what? We probably just need to part ways.
Right.
And I agree with you, Jay, when you brought up the April. I saw that too. On YouTube, her video, and that was just a good point of the man gotta bring something to the table. And I know it's just a big topic of what are you bringing to the table, but I always say I can work with something, but I can't work with nothing. And I think a lot of women are working with nothing, like, but you see the potential, like, man, he ain't gonna be nothing forever, and you try to create a plan for him. You got to come with the plan. And like she said, we can amplify it, we can make it better, we can even add to it, but I can't create it. I can't write it out for you. You have to do that, because if I'm writing out your plan, are you listening to God? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's your God? Me? Like, you got to get the plan from God, and I just assist with whatever it is that you brought to me already.
Yeah, because it's out of order. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at it from the spiritual perspective, like you want your relationship to be in order. So if he's not operating like he should, submitting to God, like how can a woman or his woman submit to him? It's giving all kinds of confusion.
That's facts. That's facts. And as a woman, I totally feel like you guys have to be so cautious, because you have the ability to see the potential in men, right? And this is the one thing that I will say is that women are more so inclined to look at what's inside of a man, and what he can bring forth versus what men are focused on. That's not to say that men don't care, right? Especially when it comes to the woman they enter into a relationship or a marriage with. But I feel like with women, you guys do that early on in the process. And sometimes it can be to a detriment to a woman, like in this case, or in the case of other women who try to either build with or for a man. But I want to go back to something that you mentioned, Asia, and that's that you bringing a plan, or a woman bringing a plan into the situation with a man, or writing or drafting that plan up. When I recall Dr. Miles Monroe's book, you know, about men, one of the things that men need to do is not just be a leader, but a visionary. Like, if the man isn't presenting the plan to the woman for her to amplify and tweak it, like April Mason was talking about, then that's a red flag. Like, if you go to a man, it's nothing wrong for you to be like, yo, like, what are you building? What are you moving towards? And if he's like, all right, chuck that deuce, chuck the deuce. And I get it. It can be difficult for some people to find somebody that they're vibing with, but at what cost?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think women, though, we naturally, like, that's just how God like wired us. We want to help. We want to be that team player. We want to be that, you know what, I stayed down with you until you came up, because that's what's appealing, right? That sounds good. Like, I was with you when you had nothing. But you know, and one thing that April said is that it's different when you're in college, and that's you know, you have nothing in college. He's a young man, but most of us are late 20s, early 30s. So there needs to be some growth. Right. There needs to be something. And like I say, as a woman, even me, I desire to be a helpmeet to my man and to my husband. I desire to do that. So it's so easy to get caught in that. I've been caught in that. Like, I ain't out here just talking. I've been that woman. So I get it.
That's real. That's real. And the chat is definitely agreeing with you, Asia. You know, the MVP is still winning. They are, yes, Asia. You can't make something out of nothing. And that's facts. You can't. You can't. And that's the thing. If the man is not doing anything, then you're doing all the work. Like, I'm gonna go out on the limit. I'm gonna say this. If the man is doing nothing, is he really operating in the capacity of a man?
He's not ready to be dating or in a relationship. Go get you some business.
Come on, girl.
Didn't Miles Monroe mention like it was Adam like that was working before Eve came along, or maybe it was another picture? I don't know, but he was doing something. He had purpose. He was operating in his purpose. And honestly, when someone is operating in their purpose, is so much more attractive than someone who's like, well, I don't know, I'm just trying to figure it out. How about you go figure it out and then come get me and see if we're compatible? Because I'm not about to stick around with this. I'm not your life coach. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your Jesus. Go figure it out and come get me.
That's facts. That's facts.
And it also puts you in a role of leadership. And I think that that's what sometimes can be a little, if you're a woman that doesn't desire that, it kind of makes you apprehensive, because if he doesn't have anything, you're leading every initiative, and that's just going to flow into the marriage, and then that's just going to flow when you have kids. So they're going to look at mom as the boss of everything, and dad is more in the submissive role, because mom is the one making all the decisions. It's not that she wants to make all the decisions, but she just had to from the beginning and the root of their relationship.
I think this is Tanisha that says, by faith, women are nurturers naturally, and some men take advantage of that. That's true.
Oh, I think we can't hear him talking.
Jay, you're muted.
Oh, yeah.
My bad. I forgot. I was sorry. I forgot to unmute myself.
Okay.
So you shared this with me too, Tatiana. The whole Leonardo DiCaprio situation and Jeff Bezos' woman. If y'all look at this right here, we see Jeff Bezos was out with this woman, and look at the vibes that she's giving Leo. Let me full screen it so everybody can see this.
Okay.
Can y'all see that a little bit better? Or let's see if I do this, if it'll make it bigger.
Yep,
that helps. Bit, yeah.
That helps? All right, perfect. So what's y'all take on this? Like, I mean, goodness gracious, this woman is all up on his line.
So it's saying that Jeff and his girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez, went to an art gala in LA, and they ran into Leonardo DiCaprio. As you can see in the video, she is smitten by this man. And boyfriend is right next to her. It's the optics for me.
Remember, Tatiana, billionaire boyfriend. You know, we got to give him the double B's, right? Like, he's not just a regular boyfriend. Like, she's doing this in front of the billionaire boyfriend.
Yes, Jeff Bezos, former CEO, founder of Amazon, worth billions. That should be more than enough to keep a woman around, right? But
I would think
the girlfriend was looking at Leonardo like, hey, what you doing? What's your name? Oh, I know your name.
What's your take on that, Asia? Had you seen her before?
No, this is my first time seeing this as well. So I'm gonna just take it as that maybe she was a little starstruck too. You know, I'm gonna give her the benefit, but because if I would have saw Kobe Bryant or something, guys, out, I don't know how I would have acted. So I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt that she was just excited, but them eyes was telling it all. You know, them she was fascinated.
She was in the stars.
Like she did the head crane.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, he ain't that tall. He not that tall.
She's in awe, but you know what? That goes back to, you know, money can buy a lot, but it can't buy, you know, certain things and qualities that women look for in a man. It can't buy that swag. It can't buy that suaveness and just whatever it is that he's presenting, because she is in awe.
On in here. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Like,
that's why we wanted to bring it up.
When that clip go back, that neck is like, dog, like she's craning. Like she looked like she's looking up at the Eiffel Tower or something like that. Is not LeBron. He is not 6'8". Like,
I'm done.
Come on, man. Like, you shouldn't be craning your neck for a dude that's just like, he's just a little bit over 6 foot. Like, if he's 7 foot, if it's Shaq, then I can give you the pass. But like, nah. And look, Leo is like, nah. Like, don't choose me right here. He's right here. Don't here.
She followed him behind him. She say, I'm going where he going. I said,
right.
She probably let go of Jeff's hand and everything. Like, she wanted to make sure her eyes met his eyes. She wanted to make sure that he saw her eyes. Okay, that's why she did that neck crane. She's like, you see me?
Let me ask y'all this question.
I see you.
Asia, Tatiana, y'all are on the arm of billionaire boyfriend. What celebrity is gonna make you do all that craning, all of that gawking, all of that looking? Is it still Kobe for you, Asia? If he was still here, you know.
Well, I wasn't.
for my man Kobe.
Well, as you guys see, my shirt says Kobe. So
Oh,
Kobe's more my uncle. You feel what I'm
Oh,
saying? So
got
Kobe
you,
ain't
got
gonna
you.
have me doing all of that. Kobe's my uncle. You know,
Yes.
I really believe that was my uncle. So I wouldn't do all of that with him. But maybe I don't know if I saw like a little Morris chestnut or something. You know, it ain't. That's a different type of fine. You know, Morris is like a different fine. So maybe like a little Morris. I don't know. What you think? I'm not too sure. Maybe Morris. I don't know who else.
Oh, Tatiana.
let's see. Look, I have a few different kind of like celebrity guys that I think are super cute. Like, let's see, so random. Okay, so if it was like Alfred Enoch or something from How to Get Away with Murder, I don't know. I don't remember his character on that show,
I was
but
just like, which one was his character?
he was the guy who came back at the end.
Wes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I know you talking about. Okay.
If I saw my boo boo West in person, I would try to keep it on the inside. Like,
Yeah.
we're in the same
Yo, your eyes
room.
literally just popped though. Like, yeah, you might have been keeping it on the inside verbally, but your eyes
it's
popped
hard to
out a
hide
little
my-
bit, Tatiana. The eyes don't lie, right?
Yeah,
What
it's
they
hard
say,
to hide
the
my
eyes are the
face.
windows into the soul, right?
It's hard to hide the facials. I would probably had to like have a moment. Have a
Yo,
little
that's
moment.
real.
Go to the bathroom, like y'all. I saw Wes. We're in the same room.
So let me ask you about
Definitely,
this question,
definitely.
kind of flip it and put the women in the other role. So is this to you all equivalent to a man craning his neck when he see a woman walk by with a fatty or a body? Or is this on a whole nother level?
No, not the same.
So so is that the no, this is worse, or no, the man craning his neck to check her out is worse?
Absolutely, the man craning his neck to look at a woman inappropriately is absolutely different than this. I'm giving sis the benefit. I'm gonna be on her side and say she was just starstruck. A man can see a woman walking out of Walgreens and look at her like as if, if she bodied, he's staring and looking, and that's different, completely different. Very lustful to me. I wasn't getting lustful vibes from sis. I wasn't getting
Yeah. Yo, you are definitely giving her all the rope.
to win this one. I got to win this one.
Tatiana, what's your take?
It depends. Like, yeah, if this woman who's like exceptionally beautiful or something, and like I may notice that with him, but if I notice this is something that he does on a regular basis, I'm like, here he go. Or now I'm right here. It just depends on your guy. Like, does he do that all the time, or is this a once in a lifetime kind of moment? If it's Beyonce, I'm not gonna be mad at you because you saw Beyonce. I'm looking at her too. Like,
Absolutely.
it's Beyonce. Like, you saw her. I saw it too.
Absolutely.
But if it's everyday stuff, that's a red flag for me.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna put y'all in a role of Jeff Bezos. You with your man, similar to Jeff Bezos. It's gonna be like a hybrid of it. You with your man, but another woman choosing him. So essentially, your man is Leo in this situation. Like, what if it's one of your friends? What if one of your girlfriends from out of state, she come around and y'all meet up somewhere, and she like, "Oh, girl, did you see him?" But she don't know that's your man though.
If that's my girl, she should know that's my man. We're gonna have a little group chat.
If she don't know, I think I would give her. I would just be like, "Girl, he is fine. That's why that's my man, girl." Like, I think I would just go along like that. If you don't know, that's one thing. And I'm fine with my friends thinking my man is fine. Like, because if I think he fine, I know they gonna think he fine. So I'm cool with that. So it doesn't really bother me. I think that's different.
Okay,
that seems harmless.
Let me turn it up. Let me turn it up a little bit. Now, some women have some women in their circle that are, they're active, if we can put it like that. What if it's your active sis that's choosing your man and she's flagrant and obvious and overt about her choosing him in your presence? How you handling that?
That's disrespecting our friendship boundary. I don't know. There's girl code, quote unquote. There's guy code. But in that situation, like, sis, really? Yeah, she's not invited to nothing else if he's around, and she might get cut off completely as a friend for that, because that's some foolishness to me.
That's right.
Go get your own man.
Yeah.
Cue the Nivea song. Don't mess with my man.
Yeah. I
That's
kind
real.
of feel you. I'll keep it short. Her and I would just have to have a conversation. I'll just leave
Mm.
it at that. We would talk for
So
sure.
so y'all would essentially be like Jeff, like y'all just gonna kind of play it off. But I'm sure on the limo in the back of that Rolls Royce, like some words were exchanged, some standards and expectations were discussed, and you gonna have to have that conversation, right?
Yeah,
Jay,
it
when
wouldn't
you
happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, when you hear that line, you know it's funny how you about to get in trouble. Just
Yeah.
Yo,
prepare.
that's
Just
real.
prepare for the reckoning.
Yo, ladies,
Now, I have a
y'all hear?
question for you.
Yeah.
How would you, if that's you, what would you say to your girlfriend in the car back as a man if you felt like she was being a little flirtatious or just a little too friendly, as men say they don't want their woman too friendly, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but that's another topic for another day. So
Yeah.
how would you handle that as a man?
Okay, so I'm gonna put myself in the role of Jeff Bezos, right? In that situation, that's not my wife. More than likely, not in a relationship with her. So at that point, I'm gonna just let her know that behavior doesn't fly with me. And if she's like, "Cool," then we can continue. But if she's like, "Nah, what you mean?" It's not gonna be a discussion. That behavior doesn't fly with me,
Okay.
and that's it. You're not my wife. You're not my woman. So we don't have to talk this out. We were
Case
dating. You were
closed.
nice arm candy at this event, but that's a wrap. Like you are not making another appearance with me if you don't understand that what you just did was flagrant. So that's how I will respond to that situation. Now I'm just being 100.
And that touches on what we talked about earlier about guys being quick to, or they efficient when it
Mhm.
comes to cutting off a date because they got the data. They're like, this
It's
how she
in
rolls.
her. Like okay, I get what Asia said, right? If she was starstruck, that's one thing, right? That's one thing. It'd be different if in the car she like, oh, I can't wait to meet Leo, and so like I'm kind of prepared that you gonna go Google when Leo is around. But if like you ain't never said nothing about no Leo, we about to be around stars, and you ain't said nothing in the car about, oh, I hope this person is there, like, and then you act like that. But I'm gonna flip it. If she's like really choosing, then that to me is like I see what she's about. Like if she would choose
Mm,
another man that overtly in front of me,
okay.
that would just be done. Especially if that's not a woman I'm in a relationship with and that's
Mm-hmm.
not my wife. Like if
That's
we
fair.
just dating, if a woman is overtly choosing another man in my presence, it's a wrap. I've already lost her. Like, cause she already looking at the next thing. Like women are about hypergamy. Like there's something that guy got that I lack. And I'm man enough to say that. Cause she wouldn't be choosing him, especially when she right on my arm. There's something that
Literally.
she's seeing him that I ain't got. And clearly that lets me know that ain't the one for me.
Ooh, wait. Billions,
I think that
regardless.
no, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No, keep it
I
one. Yo,
guess
you the MVP. I want you to keep it 100.
I just think that sometimes men, and I'm not saying you, but just in general, do you think that some
For it.
men can be a little insecure sometimes? So any woman, I mean, any man that they see their woman communicating with, no matter what the level is, they're gonna have an issue with it. Some men want it to be when we out, you don't even look at nobody, don't say hi, you wait. Like some men are like that. So it's just like, can some men be a little insecure, or is it just she was choosing? It's a thin line sometimes.
Yeah, because sometimes you come into the situation like you walk up on, like, let's say Jeff just happened to pay attention and it looks like she's shooting her shot at Leo, but that wasn't the case. She was just like, I really liked your last movie. And then it looks like something else. Like you have to like kind of look at it for the full context.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to assist Asia here. We're giving her the benefit of the doubt.
Thank
But
you. We gonna give sis
Respect.
the benefit. I'm gonna give her
Respect.
the benefit in this one.
Respect. And I have to balance it out as a man, right? Like I have to keep it 100. Sometimes it's just the fact that your woman is choosing another man, and
mhm.
as a man, like I can't speak from a woman's perspective. As a man, it's not insecurity. I get what you're saying, Asia. It is a such thing as a man being insecure, but there's also a such thing as recognizing that there are some things that you cannot offer a woman. Like in the
That's true.
instance of myself, like I'm short. So if I'm with a woman that I think she's down with me, but then we get in the presence of this dude that's super tall, like I'm not insecure about his tallness, but there's clearly something here that she prefers. So I know that if I do proceed with her, I got to know in the back of my mind that if the right tall dude comes along, I'm done. I'm done. So for me as a man, I put myself in a position where you have to make the right choices. The choices you make are vitally important with regards to how far you're going to be able to move with this woman. Because going back to the whole tweet that the dude sent out, when the next best thing comes along, when the thing that they really want comes along,
right?
the whole when Jada's Tupac comes along, you can be all the Will Smith in the world, but you ain't Pac.
But you ain't Pac. That's a word. That's a message. And like Tanisha said, I know Jeff would not be comfortable to leave her around Leo. I think that's adding to what you were saying, because you're calculating. You're kind of like almost projecting, like this is what's going to happen in the future if I keep entertaining this kind of woman.
Right.
Asia,
I felt you had something you want to share. I want to hear it always, sis.
Because I think that, okay, I agree with what you're saying, but I just don't know. I see it, but I don't. Because if she's with you, she has already made up in her mind, like, okay, he might not be my height preference or he might not be what I'm used to, but I'm still with you. So that means that just because a man that comes around, that's usually what I go for, doesn't mean that I'm going to go for him and leave you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't.
That's also true.
I don't know. I think that that's kind of personal. I think that's personal.
I get what you're saying. I don't think she would do it in that moment. But as a man, I feel like I would be very naive to just brush that off. I feel like as a man, I'm just being perfect. I feel like you ladies are fair to be able to give the pass. But as a man, I can't just brush that off. Like, I can't just be like, oh man, no, that wasn't a big deal. I'm gonna give sis the benefit of the doubt. Like,
here's the thing with that. I'm not looking at the video at first, I was like, ooh, just the optics look bad. I can't totally rule out that she's innocent or guilty in the situation. Right. We need a little more information. Mm-hmm. So I have to give her some benefit of the doubt, because who knows? That probably came from nothing or after that. You know what I mean? Ebony said, but would Jeff truly care? He is newly divorced. And then that's a whole nother.
Like, arm candy. Like, who's to say she's serious? Like, I mean, if I'm a billionaire, I'm not stepping out with a woman that don't look good. And let's be honest, the woman looked good. Like, it was an attractive woman. So you're a billionaire. She better be attractive. Otherwise, like, something isn't working. Like, I mean, billions, like, bro. That don't just open doors, like, so bro.
Right. Right.
So if she's not meeting his standards, his expectations, he gonna move on to the next, because he can. He has the option to confidently.
Right.
Leo or no Leo involved.
Facts. I agree. So we got one last topic for the night, and that is the sacrifices people are willing to make to get married. So Tatiana, kind of lead into this one, because this had to go with the Japanese princess and that situation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me go bring that story up.
Okay.
I'd be finding stuff online.
You the plug, for real.
Let's see what we find, y'all. Okay, so Japan's Princess Mako, or I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it's Mako, marries her commoner boyfriend, so he's not royalty or royal lineage at all, losing her royal status. And the boyfriend says, we only get one life, and I want us to spend it with the one we love. And she says, for me, he is irreplaceable. Marriage was a necessary choice for us. And so she married her college sweetheart. So they go way back. And he works as a lawyer in the United States. Under Japanese law, female imperial family members forfeit their status upon marriage to a commoner or non-royal person, although male members don't have that same rule. Mm-hmm. So there's already a double standard. And so they nicknamed the couple Japan's Harry and Meghan, as the couple are expected to move to New York. So yeah, that's pretty much the story. So it talks about, like, as Jay was saying, the sacrifices that we make for marriage. Like, these were two not high school, but college sweethearts. He was from a different different side of the tracks than she was, and so it's like almost like Lady and the Tramp kind of thing. Like she has this, she's literally a princess. She's like a whole princess right now in an Asian country, but not anymore because she married a guy who isn't a prince. So I'm like, how? I didn't even know they had a monarchy or imperialism in Japan. I'm not keen on Asian history like that, but it just made me think about like even to what they were saying in the post about Harry and Meghan and how Harry chose to step down from his royal title and Meghan as well, and they chose a better life for themselves because he had the interview with Oprah. They saw all the stuff that was going on in the royal palace. They was like, yo, we're gonna have to just make the sacrifice for our marriage. And that's what it sounds like for the Japanese couple as well. So what are y'all thoughts about this topic?
What do you think, Asia?
I think that they chose themselves. And I think it's interesting. You said the sacrifices people will make to get married. I think that if two people love each other, they got to do what they got to do. And sometimes you got to break tradition to be happy.
Ooh,
And that
that's a
can
word.
be in any, in anything. And sometimes, honestly, if you do break tradition, it can make you unhappy. Like I think it can go both ways. But in this
Mhm.
particular context, I don't know if she was unhappy in her family. Like that didn't mean anything to her. It could have meant something to her grandparents, just like the family and generations before her. But to her, she just like, I want to marry the man I love, and I'm willing to give up all of this to do this. So I'm with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tanisha says she loves the story. Ebony says
Aw.
that's true love.
Yes,
So
that's real.
I guess I will be devil's advocate.
Of
Come on,
course.
Jay. That's why
so,
we're here. Let's get
so
into
the
it.
first thing, the first thing that stood out to me was when she said he's irreplaceable. Is any person ever really irreplaceable though?
Yeah.
Mm, we about to touch maybe into the soulmate conversation and like is there such thing as one, because it's like there are people in your life that are there for a season. Like what if you do marry
Yeah.
someone who you feel is your soulmate and then they pass
Mhm.
on early or
Right.
before you thought he would or she would? Then
Right.
what? Like, are you gonna marry again? Or they're just gonna be like that second person? They're gonna be the Aunt Viv part two when you really wanted Aunt Viv one? Like,
The first one is the best one.
exactly. Shout out to both, but we already know. Like,
Right.
it makes you think about that. That's
Yeah.
interesting, Jay.
I'll be
Hmm.
honest. I feel like, how do I say this? She gave up a lot. She gave up a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
we know that just because you marry somebody doesn't mean that you're going to be with them forever. And we're talking about something that you can't get back. Like you can't your royal status is revoked. Like you just decided that, hey, I'm choosing this guy over your family lineage. I don't know the details, right? Like you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
about, how everything works within that royal family, but I hope that she weighed the cost. That's all I'm gonna say. Like the Bible
That's
tells
true.
us, right? Weigh the cost. Like make sure you have planned it out to make sure that if any situation turns out in a way that you didn't expect it to, you know how to navigate those waters and do it in a way where you're not going to be looking back regretting it and ultimately not be able to get something back. Because to me, what's irreplaceable in this equation is her royal status. That's irreplaceable. That's something that she can't get back. She can find another man if she, God forbid that one dies, God forbid they get a divorce or their relationship ends.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say like he's not irreplaceable. Him as an individual, yeah, that unique man, the things that he may bring that nobody else can, how their souls, their spirit meet, I don't argue that at all. But as far as being a man, being a husband, being a provider, all of those roles, there are definitely other men that could fill that role. But when you consider your royalty, and I mean, as black women, black women, like we're queens, we're royalty, but like not literally though, oftentimes. If
I'm
you were
weak.
literally a princess, literally a queen, like, are you gonna be like, nah, I'm good? Even the woman in Coming to America hopping on one foot was doing it for another prince.
She sure
She wasn't
was.
hopping around for no commoner, right? And wolfing like dogs.
I think that's a good point that you made. And now that, It's deep. I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, I kind of get your perspective because if I was in that situation, I would have probably it would have been tough because like you said, once it's gone, it's gone. And I almost, and I hate to do this, question the man because I wonder if he should have not allowed her to do it. You know, maybe he saw, and I don't know, maybe we just, you know, kind of play around with this, but maybe it's one of those things like I love you enough to not even allow you to do this. Like we, you know, we love each other, but this is a decision that you're not going to be able to get back. So maybe you need more time. So maybe they did, you know, I don't know how old they are. I don't know if it's even in the article, but it's just maybe he could have, maybe him as a man had to make that tough decision because I struggle with if he would have did that.
Mm-hmm.
If it was him, it's easy to tell somebody to give something up if you ain't the one that got to give it up.
That part.
So, you know, so that's one of those. Now I'm kind of thinking like, love me, maybe, and I don't know, maybe he could have loved her enough to not allow her to make a generational decision like that. So, you know, something that could impact generations and, you know, her potential daughter who will not be royalty. And like it stops right there. So it's just, you know.
Wow. Yeah. Gotta
And
factor in the legacy
back
piece.
to April Mason. Like, is she amplifying this man or is she trying to build this man?
Again, I don't know what the details are and how that works because I just saw like the remake of Cinderella on Amazon. There's always a remake of Cinderella. But in that situation, you had two siblings that were prince and princess. And so the prince decided to marry Cinderella and the sister went on to become the queen. So who knows, like maybe she didn't have a desire to be in the monarchy anymore. Maybe she didn't have a desire to be queen one day. Maybe she had other brothers and sisters that were in line to take over the throne. Because let's be clear, Prince William and Harry's daddy, Charles, he is not even king yet because Queen Elizabeth is still queen. So there's an order to things. And so until Harry he basically didn't have a chance. So he didn't lose that much in terms of the royalty part and be able to rule over things. But I think it's the status, it's the everything that comes with that. I hope they wouldn't disown her as a family member. And I think that if they have a plan, the Japanese couple has a plan to come to the US, they can probably take a few notes from Harry and Meghan because they are thriving. They are taking over. They're doing media things. They're working in production. They're doing a whole bunch of projects that we'll see in the near future because they decided to pave their own way, create their own pathway to building legacy instead of relying on a tradition that may not have benefited them in their purpose. It's so hard when, you know, even if it's a negative thing that you're coming out of, like if you grew up in a family that had certain dysfunctions and you're trying to break the cycle, it's difficult to leave that tradition because those people in your family who don't get it, they're going to be like, why are you trying to be different than us? You think you're better than us and stuff like that. You're trying to like get out of this tradition and this title that you have received because you are connected to this family. But sometimes God calls you out of something to create something else, something that's more in line with what he's trying to do. So it could go either way, but I wouldn't rule it out completely that maybe they didn't think this through. They probably got inspired at some point by Harry and Meghan's story, but who knows? Who really knows? Yeah.
Like I said, counting the cost is key. Tanisha was saying, yes, some people are irreplaceable. She knows people who are still grieving deceased spouses and cannot move on with their lives. And that's true. That's true. I don't refute that at all. You know, I feel like there are some people who definitely leave a lasting impression in our lives, and that's undeniable. Undeniable. The one thing that I did want to do before we wrap up is touch on like what appears to be a double standard between the royal woman and the royal man, where if a man was to marry, you know, a quote unquote commoner, that he wouldn't have to, you know, give up his royalty status, right? The reason why is because of his seed. That's the reason why. Like any child that he has is still of his lineage. It doesn't matter what woman is carrying or bearing that child, it's still his child. It's a little bit different because when a woman marries a man that isn't royalty and he's a, you know, a quote unquote commoner, it's his legacy that they are now leaving. You are no longer leaving a royal legacy. like that bloodline is now cut off, like because you are no longer married to somebody that is also in a royal status. So I just wanted to point that out because sometimes people be like, yo, it's a double standard. Yo, why can, the prince do it, but the princess can't? It's because his lineage is not going to be broken regardless of what woman he marries. So I just wanted to put that out there just so people would understand why that is, why the man wouldn't necessarily have to give up those rights.
Thank you for sharing that. That definitely adds more context to the situation.
Yeah. So, man, yo, I've had fun. Yo, I know we rocked out longer than we had planned to, Tatiana. And
it's the premiere, we had to do it up.
Yes. And I appreciate the MVP, Asia.
Oh, stop.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we go,
did
either you have any questions or anything that you want us to dive into before we wrap up? Asia, Tatiana?
I'm good. We touched on a lot of stuff. I really appreciate you, Asia, and everyone else who was in the comments live tonight in the live chat, engaging with us, giving us different perspectives. We love to hear that, and that's what the show is about, right? To Real Love Live. We just want to hear from you all and engage with each other on these important topics because they have common themes that affect us all.
They do. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Asia, thank you for hopping on the live with us giving us even more golden nuggets and gems. Definitely appreciate it. And we will catch you guys next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same time. We'll have some great topics lined up. So definitely be on the lookout. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll catch you guys next week. Talk to you guys later.